should have kicked audio live, probably.
Let me refresh. Okay, well, the thing is Fate is showing up and, well, I think we're okay.
Now that I've got that muted. One of the nice things about this new toy is it lets me do side-by-side on apps. So I can keep the chat open and have the flowchart
Well, that's nice for you.
ready to go simultaneously. And also actually be able to see the chat.
I assume you had to do things to get a separate save that has Artoria points.
Oh, no, I didn't do that yet.
No, you don't think we're gonna get that far?
Oh, we'll definitely get that far. I'll just do it live.
So you're gonna make me rewatch all the things? Is that really the plan?
Kinda, sort of, but I didn't have time to get to it, so that's just sort of where we are.
And to Bio's question, since I assume our audio's live again, yeah?
It should be.
To Bio's question in Discord, my cat constantly wants to type things on the keyboard. She loves walking across it. She's figured out the enter button in most games lets her get access to chat if there's multiplayer. And usually she'll jump on the spacebar and then walk across the keyboard.
Map. Riften.
Listen, the beach hobo is convinced she's trying to learn to type the word kitty because these days it's spacebar K and then a bunch of letters, or enter K, bunch of letters. So the number of times I've debated getting like those pet communication buttons that say different words when a pet steps on them, I keep debating getting them, but I'm worried she'd say mean things. But yes, Kitty constantly wants to communicate. It's also why because she also understands from when I'm doing stuff with the beach hobo on Wednesdays. She understands I talk into my microphone for him to hear me, which I think is why last week when you were streaming Baldur's Gate, her solution was to sit in front of it and yowl the entire time. It was rough. Okay, top of the hill, catch a sight of the enemy territory. Okay. Dots.
It arms herself without a second thought. She decided to put on her armor once inside the church. But she couldn't help herself. The instant the church comes into view, her fury overtakes her, and she's armed and armored without even truly thinking about it. Her chest burns. This nausea she's been feeling isn't her own. The chill running down her spine is coming from her master. The hopeless scent of death reaches her nostrils. Why this is happening, she isn't sure. What she does know is that Shiro Emiya is on the verge of death. There's no time to waste.
But no.
There's no time to waste. Quickly, get in this time bubble. There's no time for explanations. Get in this time bubble. Take a nap. Go in the morning. Oh cool, you can tell us why you're a dragon then. No, there's no time! But you just gave us infinite time. Go to sleep now, no time! You Princess Celasta. Whatever the fuck your actual name was. Anyway, yeah, Shiro's gravely injured. He could be dead. Except blatantly he's not gonna. The pain and cold have morphed into an unbearable nausea that grips her whole body. And that is less than 1,000th of the pain of the pain Shiro feels. He's not gonna make it. He's not gonna make
He's
it.
the protagonist, Artoria. He'll be fine.
No, he's not gonna make it.
We picked the ridiculously stupid choice. Of course he's gonna live.
Even if she moves with godlike speed, he won't survive. Every second brings him closer to death, and she may arrive just in time to watch her master die. As soon as she imagines that scene, she feels all sense and reason flee her. All she can do is run to her master as fast as she can.
No, Runner Master.
If godlike speed will not bring her to him in time, then she must simply break even the laws of God. She must become Kenshin. It's the only way. She struggles to control her anger as she glares at the church.
Inu, just a guy's already out of the Grail War.
I said Kenshin, not Kotaro.
As far as I'm aware, Kenshin's not a heroic spirit, so theoretically, as far as I'm aware, he's also just a guy.
No, see, here's the thing. As far as, like, what classifies for heroic spirit, I'm pretty sure Batosai counts as a heroic spirit. I mean, we know Saito counts as a heroic spirit, so... The tightly shut church doors offer no obstacle to her, simply blown wide open with the force of her approach. Rows of pews fail to even slow her down, because she just runs up the main aisle.
I was about to say,
obviously.
presumably she's just running up the aisle.
She smashes through the chapelle, passes through the courtyard, and rushes down the stairs leading to the basement.
Because she knows where all of these things are, obviously.
Behind her, the church is left in ruins. Saber is not usually so violent. For all she knows, she opened the door calmly. She may not even remember expending so much magical energy in her run through town. She simply could not control herself. So fast and out of control is she that she practically rolls down the stairs.
I'm just picturing
Sonic.
my ass over tea kettle
Yeah.
spinning down the stairs.
Sonic ball. He rolls up into a sonic ball. Like, brrr. Death closes in on all sides. When she finally sees what horrors the basement holds, her fury overwhelms her. Fury directed at herself and at the enemy responsible for this.
よ悪いがそこまでだセイバー
She doesn't even hear Lancer's voice as he bars her path. All hope of control or restraint is gone. However much she might try, she can no longer control her strength.
I'm sorry, Lancer, but yo? Really?
Her lord is somewhere in the darkness. In the back room. He's lying there, face down, at the center of a room peopled by living corpses. A pool of blood spreads out beneath him, and the sound of his erratic breathing, or frantic breathing even, echo all the way to the sanctuary. He's alive. Relieved though she is, she shudders to think how long she'd left him alone.
白
I just, like, pain gurgling from the distance. Saber enters the back room. But a guard blocks her way. Holding his long spear behind him, the blue spearman meets Saber's gaze fearlessly.
Yo, 悪いがそこまでだ、セイバー。
Yo. She doesn't hear him. So she doesn't stop.
てめえ、いきなり見境なしか。
His ability to insult Saber while parrying her attack is frankly impressive. Lancer manages to block Saber's surprise attack with his spear, but he can do nothing about the sheer strength behind it, and retreats back to the nearby wall. There's nothing in Saber's way now. She doesn't have time to deal with Lancer. Her master is on the verge of death, and she has to save him. But Lancer's in the way.
そんなに坊主が大事か。そりゃ構わねえが、ならなおのこと、俺を放っておくわけにはいかないぜ、セイバー。
Saber stops as she heads to the back.
それはどういう意味ですか、ランサー。
いや、何な。そいつの胸を串刺しにしたのは俺なんだが、実はこれは2度目でね。以前は確かに殺したってのに、生きてやがったもんだからな。今回は念を入れて。
貴様、シローにゲイボルクを使ったのか。
Well, he didn't call the attack, so technically both yes and no. Like, he stabbed him with the spear Gaybolg, but he didn't stab him with the noble phantasm Gaybolg using the spear Gaybolg. Like, he didn't call it, therefore it's not the one that guarantees super definite for sure dead.
安心しろ。心臓は外してやった。
I think, probably.
だが呪いはそのままだぞ。セイバー、貴様とてこの槍の呪いは知っていよう。因果を逆転させる原因の槍。こいつの呪いを受けた者は、よっぽどの幸運がない限り、運命を変えられない。まあ、単純に言ってしまえば、ゲイボルクによってつけられた傷は癒されることはない。呪いを受けた者は決して回復できず、死に至るまで傷を背負うことになる。この世に、この槍がある限りな。
At that moment, the air changes. A flicker of intelligence and reason lights in Saber's eyes.
Translation: kill the fuck out of Lancer.
Translation: kill the fuck out of Lancer.
ようやく理解できたか。そこの坊主を助けたいんだろう。ならまず、俺との決着をつけなくちゃな。
Lancer's bestial bloodlust drives him forward into Saber's reach. He's deadly serious. But then...
正気ですか、ランサー。この狭い室内で僧兵であるあなたが剣士である私と戦うと、そのような愚行、あなたの考えとは思えない。今ならば見逃します。その槍を置いて去りなさい。このような不本意な戦いであなたの首を取る気はない。
それこそ愚行じゃねえのか。一体どこの英霊が自分の相棒を置いてくってんだよ。
She chooses to abandon him. He chooses to disappear while she's sleeping.
No. Lancer's question is... Lancer's question is, what kind of heroic spirit would I be if I left my lance behind? Like, the partner in this case is Gaybolg, not Shiro.
俺は何も取引をするためにそいつを刺したわけじゃない。俺はな、お前と殺し合いをするためにここにいる。
Well, he's not lying. Lancer has no intention of letting either of them leave alive. For him, this is the first and only battle where he can truly go all out. Lancer's wish is not for the Holy Grail. His wish is to fight a battle worthy of heroes. Such a simple wish, one any servant should always have granted, has been denied to him. So he has no intention of missing what may be his final chance, even if the situation happens to be unfavorable.
いいでしょう。ならばその槍、お見事叩き切って捨てるだけだ。
Saber readies her invisible air and faces the Blue Knight.
よく言った。白状するとな。貴様が最後に残ってくれて嬉しいぜ、セイバー!
Lancer's spear pulses with light. Saber confronts him without hesitation. The rematch begins with a desperate blow from both sides.
God damn it. Is Shiro I can't just die without narrating everything about to narrate the fight? God damn it.
It hurts. It hurts. It hurts.
God damn it, Shiro. For once, can't you just be dead?
The sound of my ragged breathing fills my ears. My fever's so hot it'd burn anyone who touched me. It feels like my brain is melting and oozing right out of my skull. Stop. 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 It's like everything is melted away, but every nerve in my body still screams with agony. Help. 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 My mind's burned out. There's a hole in my heart and a void in my stomach. I'm just really hungry. I want to vomit, but there's nothing left in me because I'm so hungry. The twisted feeling of nausea only grows stronger for my inability to vomit. All I can do is bite down on the pain. Somehow, in spite of it all, I still cling to consciousness.
Fucking damn it, can you just stay unconscious?
Pain is an old friend. I know how to endure it. Go back. Go back. Go back. But the voices don't stop. They fill every corner of the emptiness left in me after the pain has burned everything else out. I know who those voices belong to. It hurts it. Hurts it hurts. I'm going mad. With each echo, a stabbing pain shoots through my chest. I'm not afraid. I just have no answer, no way to respond, no way to make it right.
That does say wait, yes.
Yeah, okay, we had to double check. Yeah. Wall, wall, wall.
That is certainly what it looks like at the distance we're at to the TV, but no, that's definitely wait.
Wait. They beg and plead and cry, but there's nothing I can do. I so desperately want to help, but I can't. I can't even ask them to stop. No matter how much they beg, I can't respond. I'm sure. I really will go mad if this doesn't stop. Return. 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 They repeat it again and 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 I can't do anything about it. And again, all I can do is give them an end and an end.
Inu's trying to get me to commit murder tonight.
All I can do is fix this paradox of life and death. All I can do is punish the architect of this hell. And I can't reverse all the sadness and death. That's my limit. A champion of justice is someone who can only clean up a mess that's already been made. You'll never be able to save the very people you're hoping to save. Who said that again? Pretty sure it was Archer. I refuse to believe it, but now I'm being confronted with that very truth. I want to get out of here. I can't save them. I can't do anything but take it in. I have nothing to give back, no miracle to grant. I'm not strong enough to defy those words saying that a champion of justice can only go so far. But if I did have a miracle at the ready, would I...
来たか。そら、目を覚ませエミヤシロ。お前のサーバントがやってきたぞ。
I hear a voice. It's right behind me. But I can't make out what it's saying. My vision is blurry. I can't make out what's in front of me either. There are only the voices crying out for help. There's only a room choked with the bodies of those who have died.
But are still technically alive.
Correct.
よくやっているが、やはりセーバーにはかなわぬか。どちらにせよ、あと一人分のサーバントは必要なのだ。それがセーバーであろうとランサーであろうと構わないのだが、
I can't
その前
hear
に選定をしなくてはなるまい。
but his voice echoes in my head.
さて、出番だ。もう少し前に行こうか、エミヤシロ。
Something pulls my head upward. He grabs me by the back of the head and drags me forward. I can feel who it is now. This man has been consumed by the darkness. His heart is ashen. He's draped in shadow. This corruption creeps into him, and it has tethered itself to him. I don't know what's happened, but I do know this man, Kirei Kotomine, he's like me.
In that he's immensely unlikable, and that I sincerely wish him dead. Yeah, you're actually right on this one.
He's suffered a fatal wound, but somehow still remains in the world.
And is taking all of it out on you, because it's your dad that did it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. As Saber's power lets me regenerate, Kirei Kotomine preserves his body with this darkness.
So I've been falling down Dragon Age rabbit holes again. And literally the only thing my mind's going to is blood magic! Yay!
そこまでだ、セイバー。斧が主を救いたいのならば、その剣を収めるがいい。
What's going on? I still can't make out what's going on. I can't even lift my own head.
ランサーも引け。もともと私たちは聖杯を求める同志ではないか。そうむやみに殺し合いなどするものではないぞ。セイバーがこの男を引き取りに来ただけというのならば、喜んで引き渡そう。
He laughs ominously.
それを信じろというのですか。ランサーのマスターを殺し、今また私のマスターをその手にかけようとする貴様の言葉を信じろと。
Who is that? I can't tell, but like the sound of a tuning bell, the voice helps refocus my mind. It must be Reen.
Tuning bell? You mean a tuning fork?
No, a tuning bell.
You don't use a bell to tune.
Sure you do.
No, you don't, because the sound changes based off where the thing in the bell is, the clapper.
Right, and you don't use a fork to tune because it sound of it changes depending on what you hit it against.
I mean, fair, but
So
I've always had a soft spot for tuning forks, though. I think they're fun to whack against things.
tuning bells are where it's at.
信じたまえ。私はお前たちと争う気はない。季節してこのような形になってしまったが、お前たちが聖杯を取ろうというのなら邪魔はしない。もとより私の役割は聖杯の持ち主を見極めることだ。
Which is why I killed a master and stole their servant, obviously.
ここまで残ったお前たちには十分すぎるほど資格がある。故に望むのならば。
ここに聖杯があるというのか、貴様は。
あるとも。聖杯はどこにでもある。聖杯とはもとより形のない器だ。いつどこで何に呼び出すかによって完成度が変わるのだが、呼び出すだけならこの土地にも資格はある。
Like it could be a rice cooker, for instance.
Where it's summoned, when the form it takes.
無論サーバントが残り一人にならなければ聖杯は未完成だが、その出来でも大抵の願いは叶えられるだろう。それで満足がいかぬのならば、その時こそ最後の殺し合いを始めればよい。いや、私としては気乗りがしないが、お前たちが望むのならば付き合おう。決着をつけるのはその時でいいのではないかな、ランサー。
よくはね、そんな回りくどいことをする必要はない。白黒つけるなら今すぐできるだろう。
この状況でか。室内ではお前には不利だろうし、セイバーとて主が気になって戦えまい。これではお前にとって満足のいく戦いとは言えないが。
Someone spits. The other man must have given in.
いいさ。なら一つ聞かせろ。聖杯ってのは何だ。あれは残り一人にならなければ現れないものじゃなかったのか。俺たちを呼んだ連中は初めからペテンにかけてたってことか。
いや、事実ではある。聖杯はサーバントが残り一人にならなければ現れない。だが聖杯を下ろす器は別だ。あれは初めから形あるものとして用意され、聖杯召喚の時まで力を流し込まれていく。残るサーバントがあと2人だけという状況ならば、すでに聖杯としての力を持ち始めていよう。そうであろう、セイバー。お前とて前回最後まで残ったサーバントだ。アインツベルンの用意した聖杯がどんなものか、うすうす分かっているのではないか。そう、聖杯は常にここにあり、生贄の地で満つる時を待つ。だが それは虚しいとは思わないか。何も残り一人になるまで付き合うことはない。お前たちの望みを叶えるだけならば今の状態でも可能だろう。ならばここで意味のない摂取をすることもあるまい。
そうですね。確かに貴様の言い分は正しい。だがだとしたら貴様は何者だ。貴様の目的は聖杯を手に入れることではないのか。
私は選定役だと言っただろう。ふさわしい人間がいるのならば喜んで聖杯は譲る。そのためにまずはお前の言葉を聞きたいのだ、エミヤシロ。
Moving. Someone grabs my head and jerks me up. It hurts. The wound in my chest rips open. My world goes white with pain.
貴様。
案ずるな。ただ返事を聞くだけだ。聖杯は求めるものにのみ応える。己のマスターが聖杯にふさわしいかどうか、お前とて興味はあろ
う。それは無駄だ。シローは聖杯を欲しがらない。私のマスターはお前のようなゲスではない。
ああ、この男は初めからそう言っていたな。だがそれは本心ではあるまい。あらゆる人間に闇があるよう、この男にも影はある。例えばそう、10年前のあの日、この少年は本当に何も恨まなかったのか。その先にあったものを忘れることで振り払っているのではないか。
No. Wait. What the hell is he talking about? The fire 10 years ago has nothing to do with this. This is meaningless. There's nothing here.
その傷を切開する。さあ、懺悔の時だ。エミヤシロ。
My body buckles. Pain shoots down my spine like lightning. In its wake, I feel my mind separating from my body. My vision goes red. Stop. 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 Stop.
I'm sorry. That's just such a disimpassioned read.
Stop. 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 There's nothing here. Remembering this saves no one. Hey look, fire! Everybody died! All of them! I was the only one left, lost amidst the flames. Ashen corpses beneath smoldering rubble, crying out from every direction. Some other kids that lived and were with me in the hospital until they weren't.
So yes, everyone's dead. Definitely not other people crying.
Yep. Everybody died.
But lots of not me people crying.
It hurts it. Hurts it. Hurts. I alone continued on. I needed help. I needed someone to save me. I kept on, never once looking down. Stop. The entire time. There were others calling out for the help the moment they saw someone still moving. Hey you! You're not dead! Help! Stop. Help. Help, help, help. Help. Oh no, I'm on fire. Somebody save me. I knew. Of course I knew. And I pushed through anyway. I turned my back on those voices. I turned my back on the sounds of all those trying so frantically to escape. I turned my back on those pleading not to die. I turned my back on mothers begging me to take their children. I turned my back on the dying gazes of those too weak to ask for help. I kept pushing forward, alone, desperate for someone to save me. Wait. I couldn't stand seeing their bodies. I couldn't stand seeing people suffer and die. I was sure I couldn't save them. I was sure they'd die no matter what I did. So I kept pushing on. Stop. Give it back. Give it back. Give it back. Give it back!
I was about to say, so we're scolding a kindergartner or chastising a puppy.
Come back. No, stop walking through the fire with that, young man. Come back here. Come back here and give that back this instant. I don't care that you're burning to death. Give it back.
No. I do care if they're burning. The things I tell students will cause me to not mark their health check as complete is if they're bleeding, broken, or on fire. That has always been one of my conditions of not being okay.
But burning and on fire are not the same thing. You can burn without being on fire.
Yeah. My golden rule for the kids in my after-school program when I'm doing the health check. Hey, little Johnny, are you bleeding, broken, or on fire? No? Great, you're healthy.
But I have COVID. You're healthy.
Not on fire, you're fine. No.
That's why I never stopped. I thought I had to live, even if just for another second.
Now, of course, because I spread the poison that is my personality to all the children I work with. At this point, most of the young children I work with will go, "Sorry, Miss Sarah, you can't..." Well, people know what my name is. Sorry, Miss Sarah. You can't mark me as healthy today because I'm clearly on fire. Like, thank you. But I see no smoke, you're fine.
Nah, you don't understand. I've had a really good day. I am on fire! If people died without being able to do anything, so long as I could make it, I thought I had to live. They might have been useless in their death, but me? I love the way it keeps putting this stop on the right. I'm starting to read it like it's one of those, like, telegrams. If people died without being able to do anything, so long as I could make it, I thought I had to live. Stop.
So, I mean, I'm assuming it's on the other side because it's, like, the left-hand side is the memory and the right-hand side is him trying to stop himself from reliving it, is how I'm reading it.
No, I think it's much more funny for it to just be a telegram.
Alternatively, we could pretend that the right-hand side are the people around him just telling him to stop moving.
Hey, come back. You can't take... I know you're on fire. You can't take that. Come back. But I was destroyed in the process. I held back tears and pushed on. I sought escape, and each step was harder than the last as I ignored every plea for help. It would have been easier
if I just pretended I was the hero and died like everybody else.
It would have been easier to go on if I asked for forgiveness. So I didn't. Maybe it was the only way I could own up to the truth that I was actually helpless to do anything. Shiro Emiya stole a Nintendo 64 from the neighbors and they wanted it back. Running from the fire was very convenient. Stop. The light is screaming in pain for some reason. Just as I wished, I alone was saved. The only other children at the hospital were those that had been in areas near the fire. I didn't need to know, but the man in the white coat told me anyway. He was like, hey kid, those kids, they were just kind of near the fire. They mostly got baked. You were flambéed. You were in the fire. In the depths of those flames. I alone survived. You can tell from all of the burn marks that I
Don't have.
don't have. Yeah. Please stop. I bore witness to so much death and pain. I bore witness to endless sorrow. So many died that they had to hold mass funerals.
Instead of, just funeral mass.
I bore witness to so much grief, to so many different sentiments for the dead. I thought, just end it already. Hey! You come into my town,
That was one too
break
many
my
grenades.
stuff, start terrorizing my women, and think you can get away with it? I thought I had to remember all of it. I had to. So many wanted help, and not one of them got their wish. And since my wish was granted, it followed that I should take on the weight of their deaths. Shiro, you were 8 during the fire. If you tried to help anyone, both of you would have died anyway. Heck, hold on. That's a removal. Censored. No spoilers. No. I had to. I couldn't go on if I didn't. No more. No more!
Okay, so here's the thing.
This Billy Piper. No more!
Yes, I was about to say. My brain goes to her doing the imitation no more.
Yeah.
The second you did that with like the no
No
more, no more.
No more!
We know each other too.
Return! Enter! New line! That's why I desperately tried to follow in Kiritsugu's steps.
As I understand it, Kiritsugu's steps would have involved murdering people with guns.
With a gun.
Shiro.
Specifically mages.
Just saying, following in Kiritsugu's steps would have been bringing a gun to the Growlmore.
For those I couldn't save, for all I couldn't do, I looked to be a hero who could be a savior.
Just like Kiritsugu.
Kiritsugu.
Even I can sense the sarcasm in that sentence.
Shiro over here having a fucking savior complex is incredible. Everything I once was fell away when I ignored those cries for help as an 8-year-old who was literally on fire. I kept moving forward, void of all reason. No more. Please. Or possibly phase. They kind of look like an H. And so, those I could not save passed on one last lesson. Go on. Tell me what it is. What was lost in all of that?
Lots of lives.
All I thought about was going forward on behalf of the dead. I took all the memories I had before that.
And immediately put them all behind a steel wall.
And locked them away, never to think of them again.
Yep.
Fuck you, Mom and Dad, I don't need to remember you. The kindness of neighbors, being with my parents, I sealed all that up so I'd never think about it again. My ginger Japanese parents. As if I were already dead. Because, frankly, Shiro Nakahara died that day. And Shiro Emiya became. We actually don't know what his last name was before the fire. I think we're pretty sure he was still named Shiro. But clearly he was not Shiro Emiya before the fire. He was Shiro somebody. Presumably. Yeah, a lot of fans think Shiro has amnesia, but no! He just doesn't think about it. No, it's not that he doesn't remember things before the fire. It's that he elects not to remember things from before the fire.
I mean, to be fair, that's not atypical of people with survivor's guilt. Put everything from before the thing you survived in a vault and just don't think about it.
So I think it's pretty clear that Shiro doesn't come from a mage family. Because if he did, Rin would have known about it in advance. Like, her family was responsible for knowing who the mages in Fuyuki were. If there'd been a survivor of a mage family, Rin would have known about it. Or at least Rin should have known about it, theoretically. Like, he should have been in some roster somewhere, right? The fact that, like, Rin, yeah, but the serial killer from the last one, didn't he come from outside of Fuyuki, though? No, she did know about Shinji. She knew that the Matos were a mage family. And she knew that Shinji wasn't a fucking mage because their goddamn magic circuits are just
Borderline non-existent.
Are just fucked to all hell.
She'd written him off completely because the family isn't worth much.
She absolutely knew that Shinji came from a mage family. She also just knew the family wasn't worth a damn as far as magic was concerned anymore. She wasn't expecting the Grail to have given them a servant anyway, but, you know, like, Rin's wrong about a lot of things. Anyway, don't open up whatever that is. I was no longer in pain. Kiritsugu Emiya adopted me and I was finally happy. And that's why...
それを間違いだと思ったことが一度もなかったというのかね。
I'm telling you, don't open that door. Agony and pain. Pure agony rips through my chest and drags me back to reality. The nausea simply doesn't end. My arms and legs are numb. My head burns. I can't breathe. Return! 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 More enters! Go! Their voices continue echoing in my head. I vomit blood. Was that because I'm on the brink of death, or because my psyche can't endure the voice any longer? My chest hurts. My head hurts. It hurts so much. But I can't contain it. The wound deep inside me is the source of the pain, and also the wound in my chest. It will continue to hurt as long as I have those memories. It'll swell up and never heal. Hi, Saber! I'm seeing things. I thought I saw a Saber just then. For a moment, I think I see her, but no, she shouldn't be here. Bite down on the pain. Begging for death is no longer an option. Even if she's just some dying dream, I can't let her see me like this. She has to think I'm okay. He's just like a fountain of blood spurting out of his chest. He's like, hi, Saber! I'm doing fine!
Exactly why I was laughing. Thank you for voicing my mental image.
I'm okay! Whoops. Accidentally ejected the audio from my headset.
Which therefore cost my audio too.
Yeah, just like, I'm fine! Spewing blood directly into her face.
Everything's fine.
深い傷だ。これでは癒されぬままでは苦しかろう。エミヤシロ。お前はそのままで一生を終えるべきではない。
Sorry, what is that last? The wound is deep. It's gonna torment you as long as it's there. Don't end your life while you still have it. What? What?
Is he trying to claim that
Is
if
he
he dies with the wound, his ghost will continue to be tortured?
You'll
'Cause
just...
that's how that reads to me.
You'll go to turbo hell.
You'll go to turbo pain hell forever.
I can make out the priest's voice. It doesn't sound like him. It's too warm, too compassionate.
お前は聖杯などいらんと言ったな。だがどうだ。仮に10年前の出来事をやり直せるとしたら、お前は聖杯を欲するのではないか。
Cheer hell, you could save everybody.
あの出来事で失われたもの、すべてを救うのだ。あの事故をなくし、エミやキリツグなどにかかわらず、本来の自分に戻れる。それこそが、お前自身を救う唯一の方法ではないの
You
か。
could go back to being a normal ginger Japanese boy. Undo what happened 10 years ago? Remake the person I am now who survived at the cost of everyone else that day? No, even beyond that, if I could make everything as if it never happened and no one would be hurt. Yeah, why would I do that? I shake my head. Fevered as I am and completely unable to think, I still reject the idea and the images it raises. I curse this very weakness. Because there... The pillar is in pain. Somebody help the pillar.
Poor pillar.
Poor pillar. The voices echo in my head. My fingers desperately claw at the wet floor. Help me! Help me, wet floor! Save me from my pain! But every single one of them cries out that they want to go back. All of the wet floors, they really want to go back to being dry. And I wanted that too, even if my life was nowhere near as horrific as theirs. After Kiritsugu adopted me, I still return to that empty field many times. I was like, my house used to be here. And my parents. And my dog. And my younger sister. I didn't read any of that.
Sorry. Nope, I didn't go back far enough, did I?
You didn't go back at all.
Ah.
You're not going back.
I'm not pressing the back button, I'm pressing the take away the dialogue button. There we go.
Yeah. That bit I read. Yeah, after that. I still returned, though there was nothing there. I opened a front door that no longer existed. I walked halls that had burned to ash years before, and I smiled at my dead mom. Hi, dead mom! I wanted to go back to before it all disappeared. And wait for dawn to come and wake me from this nightmare. No such miracle happened. Instead, I was left with this painful reality. But if I could live in a world where that never happened, where nobody was hurt, surely I...
さあ、答えよ。お前が望むのならば、聖杯を与えよう。
The priest with the miraculous chalice makes his offer. Return! 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 The pillar really wants you to come back! These voices will go away if I wish for it. Orphaned children. If fate had taken even a slightly different turn, I'd be here with them. I shouldn't even need to think about it. Yeah, but Shiro, stop and think for a second. Kotomine brought all these children into the basement and hooked them up to a magical energy suck tube. Why would he want you to undo that? I shouldn't need to, so why?
いらない。そんなことは望めない。
Nah, man. I don't want to wish for that. I faced the corpses, and also Saber and Kiritsugu. Not Lancer, though! As I
That's
refuse.
not Kirisugu.
Sorry, Kotomine. They both start with a K. As I refuse, I grit my teeth. God, see, look how short Saber is next to Kotomine. My response is to deny them.
I can't look at chat. The first thing I saw when I looked down at it was someone saying no spoilers.
Yeah, but everything was fine. Don't worry about it. I got rid of the spoilers a while ago. Yeah, whatever the Holy Grail is, I'm not going to wish the dead return or to change the past. Alright. 3 things you can't wish for. No wishing for love, no wishing to bring back the dead, and no wishing for more wishes.
We learned this in Aladdin.
Right, yeah. Shiro just saw Aladdin when he was a child.
そうだ。やり直しなんかできない。死者は蘇らない。起きたことは戻せない。
Also, how did Kotomine get over there? Wasn't he, like, literally holding us up by the head?
Mm-hmm.
Like, now he's over there, standing next to Saber.
With his hand out in a, like, I'm cupping something.
It's like he's holding an invisible wine glass.
Wine glass. More like I'd imagine I'd hold my hand like that if I had, like, an apple or something in it, or if I was
Or like
trying
a
to...
wine glass. And just the stem is, like, coming down.
That would be the dumbest way to hold a wine glass. Like, I know you don't drink, Inu, but that would be the dumbest way to hold a wine glass.
Then you've got, like, the stem, and you do, like, the swirl, and then you just kick back the entire wine glass.
No, you'd have a couple fingers up and 3 fingers on the stem. It'd be more like this.
No. Swirl, swirl, chug.
No, just...
The dead, yeah, tears sting my cheeks. The tears are made of spikes, apparently. I scream to the world that a miracle is impossible, and that every time, my own conclusion makes me cry. Why is the miracle of wanting ordinary happiness too much to ask for?
それを可能とするのが聖杯だ。万物すべて君の望むままとなる。
But the Holy Grail, it can do anything. So he claims, but I can't agree. Even if I could change the past, I shouldn't. Because if I did, I would be making a bad example for Artorias. I can't. If I do, everything becomes a lie. Every tear, all that agony, the memory of what was, even that cold reality, wretched as it is in my heart. Everyone who died, screaming in agony. Everyone who risked their lives to help another. Everyone who mourned the fallen. You're not making a strong case yet. If I were to just make it as though none of that happened, where would all of that go? What would I be doing to them?
Letting them live?
deleting them from... Well, so there is a point, there is a salient point here, right? Which is that for anyone that was left behind, who lived on to the point of the present, you know, families and friends of those who were lost, by undoing those events, he would effectively be killing the people that they became.
I mean, that's fair. But who's to say that that's necessarily a bad thing either?
Well, that's the moral conundrum here, right? The dead wouldn't return. Reality can't be overturned. To continue onward, bearing the weight of all that pain, isn't that the very mark that proves something was there once? So, the thing about the time travel loop possibility is that it doesn't necessarily hold up, because there are multiple time travel paradigms. So you've got many worlds, you've got, you know, bootstrap paradox stuff, like... If you're on a single world timeline, then yes, if you go back in time, you can't change anything because what already happened, and that's why you chose to go back in time in the first place.
It's Harry Potter time turner logic.
Right. Harry Potter is a single world timeline. Whereas something like Dragon Ball is a many worlds theorem. Because by Trunks coming back to save Goku, he didn't change his own future. His future was still fucked. But he created a new future for, you know, for the timeline that we follow. It's a many worlds timeline. And given what we know about the Fateverse, and the fact that like 1 million different things are canon, despite many of them contradicting, especially in the Nasuverse as a whole, it's not unreasonable to assume that every single world in the Nasuverse is on many worlds. So, in theory, Chiro could, potentially, go back in time and change a thing, and the world that he is in currently would continue on as if that had never happened, but it would create a different timeline for the world that he changed. Everyone dies eventually, and sorrow fills the void that they leave behind. But pain isn't the only thing left behind. It's the suffering that makes the goodness shine all the brighter. Those deaths, they shaped me. My memories of Kiritsugu protect me from the spear. No, wait, they didn't do that. Never mind. And those memories form the path that eventually intertwines with others. Even though all of that will eventually be forgotten,
その道が今までの自分が間違って、
そうか。つまりお前は
聖杯なんていらない。俺は置き去りにしてきたもののためにも自分を曲げることなんてできない。
I speak firmly, even from the depths of this torment. Willing myself to hold on to this conclusion, your conscious thought.
This conclusion thought. Thank you, Death!
I force myself to remain upright. And it's then that I realize I can't hear the voices. They're not echoing in my head anymore. I wonder what they thought of my answer. Well, they stopped talking to you, so... Though whatever they may have thought, I think it's sad that they seem to accept it without any resentment. I really wanted them to be mad at me. That is... the answer her master arrived at. Her anger dissolves. All she can do is stare at her master, her words dying on her lips.
その道が今までの自分が間違ってなかったって信じている。
Despite his maimed body, as he struggles even to breathe, as he sheds the tears of one so horribly grieved,
置き去りにしてきたもののためにも自分を曲げることなんてできない。
apologizing to those he must climb over, but unwavering in his chosen path. Her vision wavers. Her breath quivers. She knows his history. Just as he saw visions of her past, so she saw his. She was certain he would agree. No, she thought he had to. She'd meant to say, "It's not your fault," but the words died on her lips. If only he could hear it. She wanted to tell him he shouldn't have to carry that weight. But he denies even that. No matter how tragic the past, one cannot undo it. Her legs nearly give out beneath her. His words are a greater weight than even she can bear. To swear an oath and single-mindedly devote everything to carrying it out. She believed they were similar. How conceited. That was her great mistake. They were nothing alike. His resolve was so strong. And she, who couldn't even believe his words, was weak.
自らの救いではなく、自らの願いを取ったか。
The priest releases the boy. He steps over the youth with a sneer, as if he's lost interest.
ではお前はどうだ、セイバー。小僧は聖杯などいらぬという。だがお前は違うのではないか。お前の目的は聖杯による世界の救済だ。よもや英霊であるお前まで小僧のようにエゴはかざすまい。
She feels her sense of reason is being imperiled. The priest says he'll give her the Grail. He'll give her what she desires, her wish granted.
それは
She has no reason to refuse. That's the miracle she's been fighting for. It's the very reason she became a servant. What Shiro said has no bearing on her own concerns. To obtain the Holy Grail, she, Saber, the hero of the sword.
では交換条件だ。セイバー、斧が目的のため、その手で自らのマスターを殺せ。その暁には聖杯を与えよう。
I decided I would do anything for it. His words blindside her. She doesn't even know what to think. The priest's words, while easy to understand, are anathema for everything she believes in and stands for.
どうした？迷うことはあるまい。今の小僧ならば、死んだということにも気がつかないうちに殺せるぞ。第一、もはや助からない命だ。ここでお前が引導を渡してやるのも情けではないかな。
The priest steps aside. Before her stands a door leading to the crypt, and to her master, who was previously in the same room as her.
And being held by the person who was just talking to her in close range.
But he was also standing across from Shiro, as Shiro was... Positioning is confusing.
Well, especially because they're showing them still in the catacombs, but when she was fighting with Lancer, they were in basically an underground chapel, which this is very much not. This reads much more underground sewage drain.
No, it's the catacombs.
Sewage drain.
She steps into the damp room, past the priest. She can't help herself. It's as if she stepped into the depths of hell. He was made to suffer in this place, to witness his own darkness, but he refused the salvation he was offered. She grips her sword. He lays at her feet, breathing raggedly. It would be the end of a long, long journey. The Holy Grail she desires in exchange for her life. All she has to do is swing her sword but one final time. A master and servant are united only until they obtain the Grail. She could end it right here. No one can blame her for this. She blankly looks down at the thing at her feet. Her fingers have no sensation. She's not sure what she's touching. But there is one reality she recognizes. The boy who was her master ended his own life while trying to protect her.
Shiro.
She only thought of it. For just a brief moment she sought the Holy Grail. But that desire faded almost instantly, and she prioritized the boy's life above all else. That instant was just enough time for evil to sink in. Just thinking about it was enough. Her heart, her long fatigued and worn out, was defeated in a moment of weakness that lasted no longer than the blink of an eye.
違う。嘘だ。シロ。
She reaches toward her master. He isn't breathing. The young girl looks so much less noble, holding the boy's corpse.
よくやったセイバー。その慟哭、聖杯を受け取るにふさわしい。
A voice echoes in the darkness. As if responding to the call of Nirvana, she accepts the Holy Grail in a daze.
Why does the game keep considering these bad endings? I'm perfectly content with how that ended. Fine, Tiger Jojo.
迷える子羊に反省を促す楽屋落ちコーナータイガー道場である。道場もなんと13回目。そろそろこのコーナーが何の意味もないということに気づいてきた方も多いと思われる。
No shit, Tiger.
Oh, Taiga.
ここんところどうなのよ、弟子1号。
では率直に意見するであります。ズバリ無意味です。なんか突然死ばっかりで単に選択肢を戻れば済むだけの問題。
正直者が憎すぎる。そんな出まかせ嘘広告紛らわしい。だこの道場はそんな簡単なもんじゃないもんね。見なさい、その証拠に今回は念願の
ゲゲ、もしかして恋愛ゲームの大王道選択肢とは関係なしのバッドルート、たった1ポイントでも足りなければ初めからやり直しという
そう、誰もが嫌がるドキドキシステム。 あの好感度チェックによるバッドルートなのである。
これでようやくまともなアドバイスができるわね、タイガ。
かんらそれじゃあ早速素振り開始。弟子1号、今回のバッドエンドの原因は何？
セイバーの好感度が一定値に達していなかったため、シローがセイバーに見限られたからであります。
For like a split second. And in that split second, her sword arm was just like, chop, chop, motherfucker.
アドバイスは以下の3点。1つ、12日目からはどんな選択肢を選ぼうとセーバーに好感度はプラスされない。
Yep.
やり直すならもっと前からやり直せ。
うわー、何それ。それなら12日目の時点でバッドエンドさせとけばいいのに。構造的欠陥。
2つ、つまんないとは思うけど選択は常にセーバーを基本に置くこと。遠坂さんとの両天秤はこのエンドに直行よ。
Stop being nice to Reen.
リンは本当にお邪魔キャラだったのね。ま、リンと仲良くなりたかったらまずセイバールートをクリアしなくちゃダメってことね。
That's true. You do have to do that.
3つ、普通にやってれば好感度条件は満たされているはずである。
Excuse you, I was playing normally.
Evidently not according to Taiga.
どうせやり直すなら7日目あたりからやり直すが吉。
Day 7. Okay. That makes it
最
easier.
短なら
Thanks, Taiga.
8日目で条件クリアよ。
The shortest you should be able to fulfill the requirements by day 8? No, there's definitely only a maximum of 2 saber points available on day 7.
うん。でも8日目の昼は外に出ると私のあるよ。家に残るとセイバー好感度プラス1されるけど、まともにやっていけばそこの好感度はいらないかな。
以上である。なんかすっごく気持ちいい。ようやく自分の存在意義を果たせたよ。
Actually, they are right though.
よ
They're
うやく胸が張れるよ。あ、
there's 2 there.
けどタイガ、大抵の人はセイバー好感度条件をクリアしてるのよね。
Another 2
シロ
there.
はセーバーちゃんをないがしろにするような子じゃないもの。普通ならこんな結末は迎えないわ。
タイガ、言いにくいんだけど、そんなにレアならこの道場に来る人ってすっごく少ないってことにならない？
大丈夫よきっと。そのためのスキップ機能、そのためのタイガースタンプだもん。
We can get 2 there. 3.
みんな死に物狂いで変なプレイしてこの道場にたどり着いてくれるわよ。
ええ、その頃にはみんなこんな変な条件のバッドエンドを憎んでるわ。
Ilya, I hate to disagree with you, dear, but I am perfectly happy with this bad end and its weird conditions. I have zero issue with how this ended. Also, I love chat. Shiro isn't the type to ignore Saber. Willow. Lol. Willow isn't normal. No, Willow just hates Shiro with every fiber of her being.
Yeah, it's just fate route,
つまり
Shiro.
みんなに喜ばれようとしたタイガの道場はコンプリートにおいてプレイヤーを苦しめるものになってるの。
No, Ilya, the suffering's having to put up with more Shiro. My favorite part of this game has been the Tiger Dojo because it means I've successfully managed to get him killed.
And some of the Tiger Dojos are just, like, genuinely the best scenes in this entire game.
アイデンティティクライシス
Listen. Yes, Saber gets the growl. As far as Willow's concerned, route over. That's not how things get to end, though. I know my brother.
もうバカ爆発落ちなんて最
Here we go.
Alright. I've figured out the minimum number of things that we need to do in order to get the points that we need. Which means we need to jump back to day 9 in order to get enough. Because between 9, 10, and 11, there are 6 points available. We only need 5. So, we jump to day 9. Day 9. It should be during Fall Down Your Mind. Yeah, it'll be this one. So this is where we need to load from. Yeah, I know you can go back in days when using the flowchart. I don't like doing it that way. So, we did go with that one. That one gives us 2 saber points.
来てくれ
I murmur those words like a prayer. My life doesn't matter anymore. But to put a stop to this savage brutality.
来いセイバー
I muster up all my strength and call for my blade. One of my command spell strokes disappears. At that very moment, the space around me begins to waver. So this is magic! Saber, clad in her silver armor, bursts through the ripples in space and time to appear before me. My back slams into the ground. I stop breathing. The force of impact jars every bone and organ in my body. Several ribs crack or probably break outright. And yet, my body is intact. My bloody arms are still attached.
シロ
He went British there for a second. My bloody arms are still attached. Hold on, I need to check something. Saber runs to me. Forcing my numb limbs to move, I push to my feet to show her that I'm alright.
説明している暇はない状況はわかるなセイバー
待ってくださいシロそれはわかりますがその前にあなたの体を
ライダーを頼むあいつはお前でしか倒せない
いけませんシロの治療が先ですこのままではあなたが死ぬ
それは違う先にやるべきことがあるだろう
We need to beat Shinji and Ryder as quickly as possible. Nothing is more important.
ですがそれでは
Saber is focused only on me. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't happy about that, but there's no time to argue. If Saber doesn't want to listen, I just need to use my second command spell. She must have understood my resolve. Saber reluctantly accepts my decision.
わかりましたマスター指示を
ライダーを倒せ俺は真珠を叩く
Saber does not hesitate. She nods and, without another word, runs towards the school building like a whirlwind. Alright, I And then we get to scene we've already seen. Skip. 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 Whoop. No. I did mean to skip that scene, but then it, like, jumped me off of the... Like, I went down to the skip option, and then it was like, no, you're going to the no one. Hold on. I have fast forward mode for this. So after we get through the strategy meeting... Day 10 was the day that we actually fought Ryder on the skyscraper? Yeah. Skip the scene, yes. Skip the scene, yes. Okay. We need to follow Saber. Skip the scene. Skip the scene. Oh yeah, we did do both of those options, didn't we? Because you did... This is where you actually got Saber points the one time. So, that one we're good. Oh, for God's sake. Don't need to save the game. Skip the scene. It's day 11. So we're up to 4 Saber points so far. Yeah, we have to go that one because the other one's Tiger Dojo. Oh yeah, Lolly on a... Lolly straddling our leg. Okay. Then we need to...
Probably not hide.
Not hide under the bed, yeah. Yeah, we have to fight. That's Saber points.
And hiding under the bed was
It was.
so much fun. It was clearly the correct choice.
I don't disagree. Victory goes to the one who makes the first move. I need to fight. I can't hide, and I don't have any time for that anyway. I need to get back out there just as fast as I can and get back to Saber. The door opens. I push myself up against the wall, right behind the door. Huh? The scout opens the door, but doesn't enter the room. Hold on. The chair is visible from the entrance, even without coming in. Whoever's peeking in will know what's going on just from seeing the empty chair where I'm supposed to be sitting. Ah! Crap. If they call for backup right now, escaping will get a lot harder. I'm just gonna have to hurry out and take on whoever's on patrol. I push off from the wall and run toward the door. And then... They must have figured I was hiding because they step into the room as soon as I jump out. No chance of stopping now. Whoever I'm up against, I just need to knock them out and escape.
動くな。おとなしくしていれば命までは。シロ。
I freeze. My mind goes blank. The very person I have to go save is standing right in front of me.
セイバー、どうしてここに？
どうしてなんて、そんなことは言うまでもないでしょ。サーバントがマスターを守るのに理由はいりません。シロが
いや、だからどうして俺が捕まったって知ってるんだよ。いや、そんなことよりどうしてここにいるんだ、セイバー。ここはイリアの隠れ家だぞ。今のセイバーが近寄っていい場所じゃない。
And then skip. Skip. And skip. And skip. Yes. We must be worried about Saber, which we weren't last time. We were too busy being concerned about Rain. I wonder if Saber's really okay. She says she has no problems fighting, but wouldn't it be hard for her to go up against Berserker when she's so weak? Or, I suppose I'm more concerned about her noble phantasm.
使えばその瞬間に体を維持できなくなる。
That's what Saber said. That means Saber will disappear the instant she uses that attack.
はい。何でしょうか、シロ。
戦う前に一つ約束してくれないか。
ええ、それが私にできることならば構いませんが。
そのさ、どんな状況になってもあの宝具は使わないでほしいんだ。
Absolutely under no circumstances
地
should
上で
you
あん
use
な
your
ものを
noble
使ったら大
phantasm.
事だし、それにバーサーカーを倒せてもセイバーが死ぬなんていうのは嫌だ。
ええ、分かっています。私も宝具を使う気はありません。今の魔力でバーサーカーを倒せるとは限りませんし、何より消えてしまっては
I
聖
don't
杯を手に入
think
れら
I
れな
don't
い。
think I'll need to, I don't intend to use my noble phantasm. I don't think I'll need it to beat Berserker. Lies! She's as direct as ever. It's a relief to hear.
よし、いつものセイバーだ。うんざりするほど冷静で安心した。
それはどういう意味でしょうか、シロ。
いや、大はないよ。いいから外に出よう。遠坂を待たせるとまた文句を言われるからな。
そうですね。リンはシロに文句を言うのが趣味のようですから。
And with that kind of weird observation, Saber turns to leave the ruins. But then, she trips on a chunk of rubble and stumbles forward. I quickly grab her hand from
ほ
behind.
ら、足元危ないぞ。散らかってるんだから気をつけないと。
Huh. Saber seems to be blushing.
セイバー、どうした？なんかあったのか？
いえ、そういうわけではないのですが、手を握られていると、その。
Saber's face turns a deep crimson. She must look like I did a few minutes ago. I find myself blushing too now. With her hand in mine, I suddenly remember the sensations I felt with Saber and quickly pull my hand back. Immaculately folded shirts! Nicely folded shirts! Focus! This is the morning after nicely folded shirts, just as a reminder. The two of us stand rigidly, saying nothing.
外に出よう。早く行かないと時間がない。
そうですね。急ぎましょう、シロ。
Get eaten by the dragon inside a girl once and she can't stop blushing when in contact with you? Does seem that way, huh? We head out after that bit of awkwardness. Once we're outside, we'll never come back here. I look back towards the ruin for the last time and then turn back to the battlefield. Skip. And from this point on, it genuinely doesn't matter what we do, which means I can just pick whatever options we've already picked, and we'll be totally Gucci.
Pretty sure one of those is death.
Yeah, don't use it as the one we have to pick. No, I don't need to save the game. Skip. Shelter Ilia. Right, because yeah, now that we're in day 12, there's literally no way for us to get Saber points anymore. But we have all of the ones that we need now. Oh. I do have to pay attention to deaths, though. Yes, I have to go with Saber. And then we have to believe in Tosaka. And then we have to make Saber not do the laser beams. No, we don't need to save the game. Just cuts in on Saber, like, just on the ground. Hold on. This is versus Gil. I'm pretty sure we have to get up. Yeah. Now, remember when you didn't know who Gil was?
I mean, to be fair, I still haven't really looked them up. I'm just aware that's who it is now.
Good old Epic of Gilgamesh.
どうした何をためらう聖杯と引き
Alright,
換えなのだぞ
back to day 15. Back to
交
not
換条件として
murdering the
は破格
piss out
だ
of
と思う
Shiro.
のだが
Random question for Willow. Would you tell Inu if you became a Power Ranger? Yeah, probably. Just because he wouldn't believe me anyway. So he'd be the safest person to tell.
I mean-
he'd immediately dismiss it.
See, the funny thing is, she'd tell me that, I'd be like, oh yeah, I became a Beetleborg.
Right. So my point exactly. Inu would write it off so fast. He'd be the easiest person to tell.
But the funny thing is, I would have become a Beetleborg and she wouldn't believe me.
You're too old to be a Beetleborg.
No.
Then again, I'm also too. Well, actually, no.
No, you're too old to be a Power Ranger.
I am not, because the reunion movie is canon.
Yes, but they weren't selected at that age. They've never been selected at that age. You're too old to become one, is the problem. You're not too old to be one if you already were one, but you're too old to become one. The
I still
priest,
haven't watched that, and I should.
the once and always, yeah.
Yeah.
Priest's words ring true. For her to hesitate now would be the height of hypocrisy. Even still,
その道が今までの自分が間違ってなかったって信じている
his words refused to leave her mind.
私は
Though it disgusts her, she knows she's nothing like Shiro. She wants to upend everything. That day so long ago, there must have been someone who would have drawn the sword from the stone and been a better king. Yeah, again, they were already a Power Ranger. Thank you for proving my point. There must have been someone who could have built a true utopia. The heart that loved her nation so dearly, and the young woman's doubt before she took the sword. On that day, she tried to fully and forever abandon her heart the day she drew the sword. How did she not realize this before?
置き去りにしてきたもののためにも自分を曲げることは
To her, that is the girl who loved her country. The girl named Artoria before she was crowned. That was not a kingly heart. A king could only believe in themselves. To deny that would be to deny everything she gave up. What is lost cannot be returned. Her master insisted on this, even as he suffered. His pained expression alone makes her heart ache. What was it she said? She couldn't start over. It was her duty as the king, so she refused over and over. What duty? To resurrect her lost nation? To select a more capable king? Or is it to wish for all the death and destruction to have never happened to begin with?
それは違う。
That was a mistake. She was raised to be king. That's how she lived. In that, there was no flaw. But if that led to ruination, why could she not accept it? She had no regrets. If she could take pride in the way she lived her life, wishing for another chance was a pointless waste.
そういうことなのですね。シロ。
And so his anguished cries finally reach her heart. All the tears, all the pain, even her broken heart. Salvation could come from destroying all of it. But if it was undone, what would happen to everything swept aside in the undoing? I've stolen much from many, even their very lives. All that pain and regret is mine to bear. It belongs to me. If I were to wish for a chance at something, it should be for a miracle in the here and now, not to upend the past. Each of the countless paths not taken before cannot be taken by sacrificing this one. Instead, I should forge ahead and work to fulfill what hopes have yet to come true even to this day. If she's nationless and uncrowned now, perhaps her wish should be for herself. No. She could not make a wish like that either. She chose to take up the crown. She never suffered for that decision, not once. Even if no one understood or accepted her, that choice itself was her pride and joy. At the very least, she truly believed that when she drew the sword from the stone. That is her answer. Just as he found something to stand by, so too has she. She pledged once, so long ago, standing there with fucking Caliburn. Something she swore to herself. She would fight. Even if she loses everything. Even if everyone in the world hates her.
私が愚かだった。
An oath from a king. A promise to fight against all odds. And so the king protected her country. But the country did not protect the king. And so it was. The ending may have been tragic, but if she is no longer ashamed of the path that led it there.
求める必要などなかった。
So the thing is, the country that she ruled doesn't exist anymore. Right? Like, the UK of today is not the same country that Arthur would have ruled.
That would have technically been Britannia, wouldn't it?
It would have been Brittany, yeah. Not Britain, not the UK, not, Great Britain and Brittany of that time period. They're not the same country. They're the same physical location, yes, but they're not the same country. It's not a continuation of the same, of the same rule. She fulfilled her duty as king. It led to ruin, but she saw everything through to the end. There need be nothing else. Of course. I did not want everything. The only thing I ever wanted from the very start, I did until the very end, even if it meant losing so much along the way. I will keep this unobtainable dream deep within my heart. And it may now end.
聖杯は欲しい。けれど、シローは殺せない。
She turns her sword on her enemy.
なんだと。
わからぬかゲロー。そのようなものより、私はシローが欲しいと言ったのだ。
Well, it'd be hard to do considering both Artoria and Queenie are dead. Now, Artoria and Charles, that would be fun. And that is why my role is set. I will be his sword. I will shield him from danger. All hesitation leaves her.
聖杯はいらぬというのか、セイバー。
聖杯が私を汚すものならばいらない。私が欲しかったものはもうすべて揃っていたのだから。
Yes, she has everything she needs with her now. A sword.
Someone who's effectively a corpse.
A sword, a nation to protect, and that it's a single boy who's currently bleeding out on the floor. Her pride as a knight, her promise as a king, even the precious dream that young girl once held. Those words I do hear. The girl who professed that her only goal was claiming the Holy Grail, now says she has no need of such a thing. I call out to her as loudly as I can between ragged breaths, i.e., barely speaking at all. My vision still hasn't cleared, but I can still make out her presence. The pain is fading. My wound, which wouldn't close, begins to heal. Is it because she's close?
I really hate his emotion-based healing. It's bullshit.
Could you imagine if Wolverine's healing factor, like, only kicked in if somebody was nearby?
That actually gave a fuck about him.
Right?
Like, you know what? I feel like shit. I'm just gonna die now. Like, his emotion-based healing is such bullshit.
立てますかシロー。動けるのなら私の手に触れてく
He
ださい。
just got gay-bulged, you bitch!
He'll be fine.
He will, which is
wound is
unfortunate.
closing now. He'll be fine.
I hate the logic of this universe so much. Everything about Shiro Emiya is fucking bullshit.
I can take your hand, baby. Yeah, of course there's a reason he could survive. It's the power of emotions. And also plot armor. I take her hand. Gets it by Gable. Minor scratch, get your ass up. Whoa! Who turned on the lights?
And also, Fungi, you're not mistaken. The amount of rage and frustration I have towards Shiro is bleeding into other characters who accept his pants-on-head bullshit stupid logic. Like, I'm sorry, Artoria, but you know full well he got his ass gabled. You were bedridden for a day after getting fucking gay balled. Get over it. Let him bleed out like he's supposed to, like any normal fucking human would. No, I'm not okay.
My vision comes back. Holy shit, I can see!
We just go back to the he's dead now screen.
My head, so fuzzy from blood loss, rapidly regains focus.
Now bleeding out, it's supposed to work.
Yeah, but he's not doing that anymore.
Well, he needs to stop that and go back to bleeding out.
Give it another...
Just because he's the protagonist doesn't mean he should get to defy death this many goddamn times. At this point, he's worse than fucking Berserker.
He's gonna die again yet. It's all good. See, what you don't understand is Shiro has, like, Super God Hand, so Berserker could die, like, 12 times. Shiro can die 40.
Willow, you teach emotional regulation and control to children. You should not be struggling this badly over a video game. Pull yourself together, woman.
Saber, これは
And yes. Or, wait, what did you grab?
Hi. いかにゲイボルクの呪いといえど、今のシロには通じません。私のそばにいてくれれば、じき完治するでしょう。
That was bio. You can check it.
No, it was Google.
Okay.
"それより、今は
Saber turns her gaze back to the underground sanctuary.
I feel like sanctuary should be in quotation marks. Just saying.
The sanctuary. By the way, Lancer's just been standing here watching this the whole time, presumably.
And for whatever reason, isn't mega pissed that Saber just negated
Casually
Gable.
negated Gable again for the second time. Beyond the door.
Willow has 100% super effective damage against all Shiro faces.
The last master, Kirei Kotomine, stands at the threshold to the room. Beyond him is Lancer.
We've remembered Lancer exists again.
Oh, Ku's still here, okay.
Lancer, could you please do something about this?
He looks at us strangely, as if seeing us for the first time.
お前たちはつまらない。
The disappointment in his voice is palpable.
これではやはり聖杯は私が預かるしかない。
You know, Willow, I'll tell you something. If it makes you feel any better, not in this route, but when Baz and I were going through UBW, I'm pretty sure it was UBW. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was UBW and not Heavensfield. Although I might have had a second time in Heavensfield. I think in each of those routes, I hit a point quite close to the end of each of those routes where if Baz hadn't literally told me it was gonna be okay, I would have rage quit the game right then and there.
That's been me literally this entire round. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. Fate Route Shiro is insufferable.
Like, were it not for interacting with chat, I genuinely would not be enjoying myself in this game.
Yeah, UBW is easily the best one. Like, by far the best one.
だが そうなると
And then
少々手荒い話になる。
personally, to me, Heaven's Feel is the weakest of the 3 routes, but I think for having you along for the ride, Heaven's Feel might be the most interesting. Because Heaven's Feel asks a lot of, like, philosophical and, like, emotional questions that I'd be really, really interested to have your take on specifically.
That's an intriguing prospect.
Like, Heaven's Feel deals with... I mean, it's not like the Fate route hasn't dealt with some dark shit, right? But, like, Heaven's Feel deals with some really, really dark shit.
Well, that's not surprising, as you've described it, Heaven's Feel as Sakura's route, right?
Heaven's Feel is, in fact, Sakura's route, yes.
And even from what I've seen this route, there's a lot of emotional and psychological and possibly physical abuse going on in the Mato house.
Oh boy, is there a lot of Sakura bullshit going on in Heaven's Feel.
And my original content specialty in social work, as you know, was domestic
violence. Yeah. That's why, like, Heaven's Feel, I think going through Heaven's Feel with you would be so fascinating because it's
because I'd have insight.
Yes. And I think I can't, without spoiling things, I can't explain to you why I just dislike that route so much, but, like, I felt like the writing for a couple of the characters in that route was just awful. Like, it really just killed certain characters for me, where I really quite liked them before, and I'm wondering if it's just a lack of context, and that having proper context from someone that wasn't Baz and I, who knew nothing about the situation, if that might help to redeem that route for me, you know? Although Heaven's Feel, regardless, UBW is still the best one, by a fucking country mile. It's also Reen's route, I mean, you love Reen, so...
I do.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah, Kodamine is like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to murder you and take the Grail.
Hang on, I'm catching up on what chat has
Chat
to
is
say
agreeing
about-
with me that they also were not big fans of Heaven's Feel, by and large. Heaven's Feel is the route that, like, we constantly joked as being, like, so you'll see in chat somebody mentioned domestic violence route. It's also the one that we jokingly call sex and cooking the route, because it's basically just Shiro cooks. Shiro spends the entire route just making food. Basically. It's Fate stay in the kitchen, but instead of Shiro telling Saber to stay in the kitchen, it's just Shiro staying in the kitchen the whole route. It's really quite funny.
I mean, ironically, I think just from what I know about the characters that play more heavily in Heaven's Feel, I feel like I'd have a lot to say about that route. It just...
The other thing about Heaven's Feel, it is Sakura's route. It's also kind of Ilya's route.
But the thing, and I've said it 1,000 times, is for me as a gamer, this game would have lost me ages ago if I weren't playing this with you sitting here, if I weren't playing this to see how chat interacts with my getting very angry at everything. And for the record, for chat, I'm not being performative in my rage at all. I'm just this angry at the game. But I don't understand, and to be fair, I'm fully aware that as a hentai game, which this originally was, featuring mostly female protagonists, women, me, I'm not the target audience, like, by and large, the target demographic for this. Statistically speaking. From the perspective of the games. So, I'm sure I'm not meant to like a lot of what's being presented here. One, because of it being a product of the time in which it came out, but also that I wasn't the target audience. But games where characters lack agency of their own really piss me off. And to see, you know, so many characters basically being given a state of you literally have to make all the dumbest choices to advance the game. Like, it frustrates me.
私の望みを叶えるのであれば、聖杯は完全でなければならない。エミヤシロ。悪いが、
Regretfully. Yeah, you sound real regretful about that, Kirei.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm sure he'd have loved to keep Shiro as another one of his basement decomposing living people. But, you know.
I try my best to brace myself, but my body still won't listen. Even with Saber's hand in mine, it's all I can do to stand. I can't possibly fight, so I'll only be a burden to Saber.
その心配は無用です、シロ。あなたはここにいてください。あのマスターとランス。
As I let go of your hand, so theoretically Gabolg re-Gabolgs and you go back to dying. Because that should be what's about to happen, but I'm sure it's not, because the game really hates consistency with its own rules, specifically as they apply to Shiro.
And also specifically as they apply to Gabolg, to be fair, because Lancer's luck is just abysmal.
これは逃げた方が賢明かな、ランサー。
Lancer probably gets his best showing, I would argue, in UBW. And yeah, Lancer's silent. Of course, Kotomine doesn't actually sound at all worried. He's just making a show of it.
Wait, though.
What?
From what he was saying, for the Grail to materialize, it just requires that the servants be defeated, not necessarily that that the master of a defeated servant can't claim the Grail.
Correct.
So, why does any of, like, defeating Saber and Shiro matter if, theoretically, he let Lancer die, and then, well, Saber's tending to still mostly dead Shiro, he could just go claim the Grail. I'm failing to see the logic here in any of this.
There is, it's a thing they haven't really explained yet about how the Grail works.
Okay, but he still has a servant even if Lancer dies. He's been helping to sustain Gil.
That's correct. Gil is not a part of this Grail War.
He's still a servant.
Kotomine と言いましたね。倒す前に聞いておきましょう。あなたの目的は何なのです。聖杯の選定役で。
さて、言ってしまえば娯楽のためだが、
Wow.
それほど急を要しているわけではない。
You see, I've heard about this musical that's going to come out in like 15-ish years called Hamilton, and I really want to see it early. Kotomine just really wants to see Hamilton 15 years early.
私も聖杯にはそう関心はないのだ。ただあれは私の趣味に合っている。 私以外にふさわしい持ち主がいないのであれば、もらい受けてやるのが世のためだろう。
Honestly, I just wanted you or Shiro to get it, but neither of you seems to want it, so I'm gonna keep it for myself. Maybe use it as a beer mug. You know.
So then, who got the Grail in the last war? Because I don't think it was Kiritsugu. Rien's dad's dead. And the only 3 people that survived the Grail War were Kotomine, Kiritsugu, and
Gilgamesh.
And dude who's with the mage assembly.
Oh yeah,
thing
Waver.
now.
Yeah, Waver. Yes.
And Gil.
Gilgamesh.
But he's a servant. I wasn't counting him. So someone had to have gotten the Grail.
No. Nope.
Then what the fuck was the overseer of the last war doing?
I think he might have died. Actually. Nobody won the 4th Grail War. The 4th Grail War was a wash. It ended in a giant park fire. As Saber and Gilgamesh, like, fought each other to, well, Saber getting, you know...
her ass handed to her.
Essentially, right.
But...
basically everybody died. Pretty much everybody in the 4th Grail War died, except for 3 masters and 1 servant. And nobody got the Grail.
Master を殺し、自らマスターになった男が何を。貴様は初めから聖杯を手にするつもりだったはずだ。
なに、ただの広いものだよ。ランサーのマスターを始末したのは、外からの魔術師は何かと厄介だったからだ。聖杯がああいうものなのだと外部には知られたくないのでね。早めに退場してもらったのだが。
Okay, so you didn't want them to figure out the Grail the person. I could see how that might be an acceptable thing to be worried about people finding out. Because you're still not going to convince me Ilya's not the Grail. I'm still not sure what I'm missing from my theory about Ilya being the Grail, and from what you were telling me as I was leaving last week, it's a super minutia thing, but...
円滑に殺し合いを進めさせる手駒が入りようだったこともあり、少しばかりランサーのマスター権を拝借。
Borrowed is a very strong way of saying forcibly took.
By
murder.
Just shoving his hand through their chest and then ripping out their command seals and taking them for himself, yes. The hell? Kotomine became a master by killing Lancer? Oh yeah, it's the first Shiro's heard of this.
Yeah,
he was here
but...
when Reen told Saber about that.
That technically means Kotomine has 2 sets of command seals, doesn't it?
Probably. We get to meet Lancer's original master in Hollow Ataraxia. True story.
だが、選定役として責務を果たしてもらうぞ。今回の器、魂の杯はどこにある？
何？まさか知らずに関わっていたというのか。
Here is like, I'm sorry, what? He actually gasps. The brief moment of surprise passes quickly. With a smirk, he snaps his fingers to introduce the final piece of the puzzle.
Ilya!
Lancer! Both Saber and Lance are tense. Heavy footsteps echo from above.
さて、お前たちには不要だろうが、紹介ぐらいはしておこう。彼はアーチャーのサーバー。
No, no, no. He's the heroic spirit you stole from Tosaka's dad.
I mean, yeah.
You initially had a different servant, presumably, who got their ass handed to them, I would assume, by Artoria, considering that you fought with... that Kiritsugu made it his immediate purpose to kill the fuck out of you, or try to, but then you stole Reen's dad's servant.
To be fair, he was dead at the time.
You're not gonna convince me Kiritsugu didn't kill, or not Kiritsugu, that Kotomine didn't specifically kill him to take his command seals. You're not gonna convince me of that.
He didn't have to take his command seals. He had his own.
Fair. But you're not gonna convince me he didn't kill Tosaka's dad to take his servant.
No, I will convince you he didn't kill Tosaka's dad. He engineered the death of Tosaka's dad. But he was not directly, the taker of the life himself. Oh, by the way, in case you forgot, he was also Tosaka's dad's pupil, which is why he took Rin under his wing, so, super cool guy, Kotomine. The golden figure makes his appearance. Gilgamesh, king of heroes. New servant data added, apparently. The atmosphere shifts.
I'm sure the new servant data is just an update on Lancer's Noble Phantasm saying, not actually that deadly, as it turns out. Literally everyone can survive it. It's fine.
After making his sudden appearance, Gilgamesh crosses the sanctuary grounds to stand beside Kotomine.
んで、これからどうするのだ、ことみね。このような場所で、しかも邪魔者を交えて決着を
You're not even wearing your armor, Gil.
Wait, didn't they say he was wearing gold on literally the last page?
Let's check. No, they just said he was a golden figure.
What about that outfit, other than his hair and his earrings, are gold?
His hair and his earrings.
That's not a golden figure. Game! That is white. The dominant color in that is fucking white. There's nothing gold about that.
His hair and his earrings.
No. Inu, if you were wearing fluorescent pink right now, I would not immediately describe you as a brown figure just because of your hair.
Sure you would.
No, I wouldn't.
But if I was wearing brown earrings, you would, though.
No.
That's how it works.
I wouldn't. First, my immediate thought would be, Inu, why the fuck did you get your ears pierced?
No, they're clip-on.
And then, my second thought after that would be, my brother actually looks pretty good in pink. The thought, oh, my brother's hair is brown, let's describe him that way, would be how I do it. Because there could be 30 dozen other blondes in the area that you could describe as golden. No, you describe what they're wearing, not their goddamn fucking hair.
I disagree. In Dragon Ball, the Super Saiyans are golden warriors, even though half the time Goku is wearing orange. But it's because his hair is gold.
No. That's bullshit too, because half the upper level Saiyan bullshit hair isn't even gold anymore.
Well, I mean, yeah, these days it's blue. Or sometimes red. Or, like, occasionally silver.
My point being, you shouldn't describe people solely based off their goddamn fucking haircut.
Alright, well, what's not being pictured here is the literal Super Saiyan, like, flame-ass aura that he's got going on around him, which is golden in color, and therefore, he's still golden. It's his aura.
No. Just...
He radiates money as a person.
Wrong. False? No.
Oh yeah, also the Japanese translation for blonde is literally golden hair.
That's still... I would describe him as being in white. Not being in gold, not being golden. That's white.
That's racist. He's from
それを言う
Mesopotamia.
な。私とて予想外なのだ。文句は後で聞いてやるから許せ。
Well, Gohan can mean rice. Could also mean breakfast.
なんだ。承知しているのならばいい。だが、そのヤヒな男はどうにかならんのか。あまり睨まれると殺してしまいそうになるぞ。
Gil, which primitive are you talking about? Are you talking about Shiro or Lancer? Because it could be either of them. Oh, it's Lancer.
その男がお前のサーバントだと。
なあ、お前には説明していなかったな。彼は前回の私のサーバントだ。聖杯戦争が終結した後、意見を同じくしてな。
The mutual understanding was, I'll feed you the souls of not quite dead children, and you'll work for me next time the Ground War comes up.
彼は私に従い、私も彼がとどまるにふさわしい食事を用意することで、こうして協力関係になったというわけだ。
それがあのいけすかねえ部屋ってわけか。そりゃいいが、なぜ俺に黙っていた？
Because you have absolutely no value to him, Lancer. Have you not figured this out?
Because you were his disposable scouting servant. Did you not work that out by the fact he sent you out to fight every single other servant in this war, one-on-one, just so he could gauge their abilities and didn't really care if you died in the process?
言う必要があるとでも、それとも何か彼と共同戦線を張りたかったのか、お前は。
I mean, to be fair, if he'd taken Gil with him when he fought Heracles, they could have just straight up
そんな
won.
野郎と手を組むなんざ死んでもお断りだ。
And now there are 3 of them. Lancer by the stairs, Gilgamesh in the center of the sanctuary. We can't beat them all. Gilgamesh is too much for us on his own, but we can't escape with Lancer around either.
ことみね、お前、奴のことは知らないって。
人聞きが悪いな。私はこれでも神父だぞ。
そんなことあるか。お前は確かに前回から残ったサーバントは
He hasn't been. He's been talking to him the whole
I
time.
didn't ignore him.
なあ、私とて驚いたのだ。アーチャーには待機を命じていたというのに、指示を破ってお前たちを襲ったのだからな。
I was surprised he disobeyed and just went to go fight
ア
people.
ーチャーを調べれば、いずれ私に突き当たるのは道理だ。故に、今後の対策を練らねばならなかった。どうだ、何一つとしてお前を測って。
God damn it. I blundered right into the enemy's stronghold because I trusted his word. Yeah, this shifty ass priest.
様がアーチャーのマスターだというのか。
Define master. Like, technically in present, yes. But surely you knew who Archer's master was, at least at one point in the last war.
No.
そうだ。10年前の再現になったな、セイバー。もっとも、あの時私はすでにキリツグに倒され、最後の場面には立ち会えなかった。お前と顔を合わせるのはこれが2度目で。
Here I didn't get to see the final confrontation between Saber and Gil because he was kind of busy nursing a gunshot wound to the head.
答えろ。アーチャーはなぜ残っている？あの火事はなぜ起きた？キリツグに倒されたというお前はなぜ今も生きている？
Saber's voice drips with venom. These questions must have been weighing on her for a while now. She must also want clarity about what she felt, what she left behind 10 years ago, and the disaster that followed.
そのようなこと言うまでもなかろう。10年前、不完全ながらも聖杯は満ち、手に取ることが可能だった。私はそれに触れただけだ。キリツグとお前は強力だったのでな。分断させるための目くらましが欲しいと願ったのだが、あのような目くらましが起きるとは私も驚いた。
Wait, that means...
では、あの火災は貴様が聖杯の力で起こしたものだというのか？
Whoops.
さあな。思うのだが、私でなくても聖杯は同じことをしただろう。あれはそういうものだ。万能の杯というが、その中に満ちたものは血とお前も見たのだろう。聖杯を破壊した折、そこから溢れ出した闇を。アーチャーはそれを浴びてしまっただけだ。お前が聖杯さえ壊さなければ、アーチャーとてこのように迷いはしなかっただろうよ。
So, that's how nobody got the Grail. Saber sort of blew it up.
Was the vessel a person in the last Grail War too?
Saber excaliblasted the Grail because Kiritsugu made her. That's why she was so pissed at Kiritsugu earlier. She said that he'd betrayed her, like at the end of the last war. Because, you know, she wanted the Grail. Kiritsugu burned his last command spell to make Saber blow it up with a laser beam.
I mean, fair. You didn't answer the question, though.
That's Fate Zero spoilers. Oh yeah, he did use 2 command spells for it, yeah.
What, did Excaliblasting it once not do the job?
She was resisting. She really didn't want to. So then he forced the issue.
よまいごと。聖杯は持ち主の願いを叶える魔法の鎌だ。ならば、あの火災はお前の願望ではなかったのか？
結果だけはな。だがその過程は私が想像していたものとは違う。私はただあの土地から人がいなくなればいいと思っただけだ。そもそもお前たちは想像力が貧困だぞ。願いが叶う。それはいいが、では願いとはどうやって叶えるのだ。まさか願った瞬間に世界が変わるとでも思っていた
And this is where we find out the Holy Grail is actually a monkey's paw.
What? What a shock.
Right?
A thing that grants a wish, twisting your wish to fulfill it, but, you know, make you wish you'd never had? What a shock.
Right?
Whoever could have seen this coming?
元の
聖杯はどうあれ、今の聖杯は力の渦に過ぎん。精密な計算、相互作用による矛盾の修正など論外だ。あれはな、ただ純粋な力に過ぎぬ。巨大な兵器と同じだ。 持ち主が富を願えば周囲の人間をことごとく殺害し、主人に幸福を与える。わかるか？あの底なしの魔力の釜はな、持ち主の願いを破壊という手段でしか叶えられぬ欠陥品なのだ。
それでは話が違う。万能の力、持ち主の望み通りに世界を変革するのが聖杯ではなかったのか？
違うものか。聖杯の手段は実に理にかなっている。人を生かすということは人を殺すということだろう。この世は全て等価交換によって成り立っている。その中で突出した出来事を望むのならば、何かを食いつぶして飛び上がるしかあるまい。調和など気にしていては願いなど叶わぬ。つまりは弱者からの略奪による変動だ。それこそが最も効率の良い変革だろう。
I can only imagine what Saber must feel. If what Kodamine says is true, this is not the Grail she wanted. It's merely power to fuel the possessor's wish. It grants the owner's wish at the cost of everything else. So that's the true face of this supposedly omnipotent power.
ならば聖杯というのは
持ち主以外のものを排除する、この上ない毒の壺だ。お前も見ればわかる。あれはな、際限のない呪いの塊だ。そしてそれは私にとっても喜ばしい。聖杯に触れるのは聖職者の夢だがね。人を殺すためだけの聖杯が存在し、ましてそれを扱えるなど、まさに天上の夢でも見ているかのようだ。
The priest laughs. This time it's not for show. He laughs in pure delight. It makes me realize this is a man entirely without humanity. Weren't you gonna show us the Grail like 5 minutes ago, Kirei?
Uh-huh.
More than anyone else, he absolutely cannot get the Grail.
ではお別れだ。ゴミを始末しろ。ランサーは小僧、アーチャーはセイバーだ。
The priest turns on his heel and ascends the stairs. All that remains are me, who can barely move from my injuries, Kodamine's 2 servants, and Saber, standing ready to guard me, glaring at our enemies. A tense moment passes. We need to beat Gilgamesh and Lancer if we're gonna have any hope of getting back to the surface. But I don't care about defeating them. If we could regroup somehow, maybe, but...
シロ、
Saber's voice is quiet, but her eyes never leave the enemy.
無理を承知でいます。決して私のそばから離れないでください。
She grips my hand firmly in her own. I can tell she's ready to go at any moment.
わかった。意地でもついていくから、俺のことは気にかけるなよ。
I nod back. I can barely walk. We both understand just how bad this is. But Saber is telling me she'll do everything she can to get me through this. What can I do but agree?
はい。信頼しています。
Her voice is quiet, but firm.
いざ。
At that moment, she lets go of my hand to charge ahead. Both shadows react to her in an instant. Saber and I are struck dumb. What just happened? Lancer jerks his spear off course, away from me, and straight for Gilgamesh, who bats the attack aside with a longsword as if he'd expected it. Lancer's such a fucking bro, man.
just wants his one-on-one duel with Saber. And it's such a shame, because I'm sure Gilgamesh is about to absolutely rip him a new one.
Absolutely clown on this man, yeah. Ah, shit, I missed. My bad. I was definitely aiming for the kid.
そうか。随分と軽い槍なのだな、貴様のそれは。
Both men withdraw, unhurried and unconcerned.
言っておくが、貴様の標的はあの雑種だ。セイバーは俺に任されたものだと覚えているか。ああ、それね。悪いが気が変わった。霊樹で命令されたわけじゃねえしな。俺は降ろさせてもらうぜ。
Lancer's just like, fucking, I don't like that guy. And he didn't use a command seal to make me, so I don't really feel like it. As he says this, Lancer turns to face Gilgamesh, almost as if protecting us.
Lancer, あなたは
くだらねえことなら口にするなよ。別に貴様に肩入れしているわけじゃねえ。俺は俺の心情に肩入れしてるだけなんだからよ。
Lancer levels his spear at Gilgamesh. His intent is clear. He actually does mean to let us go.
まあ、いい加減我慢の限界でもあったしな。ここまで舐められて、おいそれと命令を聞くほどよくできた人間じゃねえってことだ。奴と。では契約を切るということか。聖杯は目の前だというのに。貴様はてめえと一緒にするな。もとよりな、俺は二度目の聖なんぞに興味はない。いや、英雄なんて連中はな。
I like
どい
him.
つもこいつも
Lancer is fucking cool. Like, he's such a cool dude, and he gets shafted in every single route.
I believe that.
He gets his best showing in UBW, but he gets absolutely shafted in every single route, and then also gets shafted repeatedly in Hollow Ataraxia. And even in the fucking, like, joke anime Carnival Phantasm, the joke is he just dies like every episode. He's basically Kenny.
俺たちはこの世に固執してるんじゃない。果たせなかった未練に固執するのみだ。まあ、てめえみてえに欲の皮が突っ張った怨霊にはわからないだろうがな。なるほど。死に際が鮮やかだった男は言うことが違う。この裏切りも英雄の誇りとやらに沿ったものか。まったく己が信念を貫くのは厳しいな、ランサー。
The air behind Gilgamesh warps. Weapons appear out of nowhere in the space behind him.
ランサー、あれはあらゆる方部の原型を持つの。我らの中で最も古い歴史を持つ英雄王です。
Lancer,
いくらあなたでも一
he
体
has your spear.
Well, no, he has Lancer's spear on steroids, as I understand it.
Yeah, the one Lancer has was actually made by Skahawk, but...
なるほど。道理で偉そうなわけだ。やりたい放題やって国を滅ぼしたって野郎だからな。そりゃ少年が腐ってる。
ランサー、強がりを言っている場合では。
いいからさっさと失せろ。助言なんざしやがって何様のつもりだ。かばった程度で仲間意識持ちやがって。
It's me siding against Kirei.
たく、これだから育ちのいい騎士様ってのは気に食わねえ。
In his own way, Lancer's urging Saber to run. Saber hangs her head for a moment.
ご分もこの恩は必ず。
You can't.
God damn it, this is the second time I've been denied my one-on-one duel with a fucking Celtic heroic spirit. What the hell?
Listen, Saber, you're not going to be able to return the favor. He's going to be turbo dead before you guys even get back to the Emiya household.
Yeah. So, true story, Saber got cucked out of a one-on-one with a different Celtic Lancer in the previous Rail War. Taking my hand, she makes for the stairs.
しまった。逃がしてしまったか
Ah, darn. It looks like they got away. Gilgamesh just watches us, making no move to follow.
ら。なんだ。セーバーはてめえの獲物じゃなかったのかよ。いいや。実はな。俺もこのような決着は好みではなかったのだ。貴様が言わなければ。俺が同じことをして。
You know, the thing is, he didn't use a command spiel, and I really didn't feel like it. Fucking Gilgamesh.
Frankly, I'm with you on this one, but
I'm still gonna kill you.
But you did defy me.
Yeah.
So, whoopsie murder.
We make it up the stairs.
Is it weird that I do actually kind of want the buddy, the good cop, bad cop, buddy cop, show of Lancer and Gil? Where they're just roommates that have very similar worldviews but can't stand each other because of it.
Saber must still be worried about how I'm doing, as we don't move very fast. The Pain, on the other hand, doesn't much care how slowly we're moving, as it doesn't dull in the slightest. The rising tension and sense of impending violence grows.
どういうことだそりゃ。てめえもセーバーを逃がすつもりだったのか。当然だろう。俺にセイバーを殺す気はない。あれは俺のものだ。だが、聖杯を呼ぶためにはそういうわけにもいかん。儀式の完成にはあと一人。サーバントに死んでもらわなければならんからな。
A multitude of swords and some spears and other things appear in the darkened basement. The Golden Knight smirks. This was why he was ready for Lancer's surprise attack. Lancer wasn't the only one planning to turn on his would-be ally.
初めからそのつもりかよ。てめえ。言ったであろう。貴様がしなければ。俺がそうするつもりだ。褒めてやるぞ、クーフーリー。これは俺にとって理想の展開だ。
The two come together. We make it out just before I see the initial volley. I stop. I make it out of the church, but my body tells me it's reached its limit.
シロ、ここで休みましょう。これ以上はあなたの体
Also, she got out of her armor. Real quick.
そうだな。悔しいけど、これじゃセイバーに迷惑をかける一方だ。
I lean away from Saber's shoulders and sit on the grass. My chest wound is still there. It stopped bleeding, but there's still a gaping hole in my chest.
Yeah, you should still be turbo dead, and I'm still mad you aren't.
The pain might be gone, but I've still got a hole right through me.
Good!
In fact, I can, like, put my fists together through my torso. Just looking at it makes me sick to my stomach. More than that, I can't believe I'm still alive.
Shiro, 傷を見せてください。
What, you can't see it? There's a hole through my chest. How can you not see the wound?
I'm sorry, Saber. I would think that would be visible. Have you gone blind by any chance?
Shiro, let me see your wound. Open your eyes, Saber. Oh, I see the problem now. I had my eyes closed. Good lord.
いや、いいけど。
では失礼します。少し痛みますが耐えてください。
Poke. Saber's fingers trail over my chest. And then...
I have to focus on pristinely folded shirts.
I don't know what she's thinking, but Saber places her hand on my chest and lets it sink into my body. Ow! My entire body jerks and bucks in response.
Wow, seriously, a one pump chump there.
I mean, I don't think this one's so much sexual as she did just thrust her hand physically into his chest.
I don't know. It started as an H game. I'm going with one pump chump here.
I mean, 3 centimeters, so... According to the original translation, anyway. Original fan translation. Saber's hand is relentless, moving around inside me. He's like making these awful sounds as she's like reaching around inside his chest.
Surely someone in the world has an exploratory surgery kink.
Well, yeah, everything's a kink to someone.
何？
Maybe don't call the person with her hand in your chest an idiot.
Well, he didn't. He called her idio.
Just saying, Shiro. Life advice, don't call the woman with her hand in your chest an idiot.
Again, he didn't. He called her idio. She's touching my organs with her bare hands! You're not supposed to squeeze the spleen directly! My poor spleen. How could that not be blindingly painful? It should hurt, but,
See? Everyone has a kink. His are, feet, apparently, as we learned last week.
Toes.
Toes. Sorry. And
Saber
apparently
has
having her
toes.
shove her hand and explore around his chest cavity, which she apparently couldn't see where the hole was because reasons.
Right? There's absolutely no pain. In fact, everywhere Saber touches, it feels like the pain is fading.
終わりました、シロ。鞘に魔力を補充しましたから、半日もすれば傷は癒えるでしょう。
What? What's so funny?
Well, we were joking the last couple sessions about the fact that they seem to get sword and sheath backwards, but she did just resolve his problems by fisting his chest. So
That's true, she did. She draws her hand from my chest, looking relieved.
yeah, she finished inside him, so she got to pull out relieved.
She just, squeezed his heart a few times and pulled her hand out of his chest.
鞘？
I have no idea what she's talking about. Also, the term they used there is the one that they use for the wooden sheaths on katanas. It's probably a more general, it's probably a more general term for sheath, but, that's definitely, the saya is definitely what they call the sheaths for katanas.
セイバ 鞘ってなんだ？前もそんなことを言ってた気がするけど、もしかして鞘ってお前の鞘のことか？
Yes, you fucking dumbass, but metaphorically. Presumably.
Saber's sheath. It has to be Excalibur's sheath. Invisible Air isn't her sheath. The legendary sheath of Excalibur is a noble phantasm that makes its possessor immortal. But she doesn't have it. King Arthur died in the Battle of Camlan because that sheath was lost. So there's no way Saber has Excalibur's sheath right now.
はい。私の鞘はあなたの体の中にあります。それを確信したのが昨夜というのは
Sure.
私の落ち度でしたが。
Shiro's just a MacGuffin. That's fine. Just got the immortality MacGuffin. God fucking damn it.
Well, she's not speaking metaphorically. She's speaking literally. Shiro just has the sheath. And has had the sheath the entire time. Catalyst summoning. He had a catalyst for Artoria. In fact, he had the same catalyst Kiritsugu had.
Just how much of a dick is Kiritsugu? Did he literally shove a sheath inside a child?
That's how Sheridan died of fire damage.
God fucking damn it.
Kiritsugu is kind of the worst. Yeah, he found a dying child on fire in a fire that he felt responsible for. It was like, well, I've got an immortality MacGuffin. Shove.
Let me save literally an person to assuage my own guilt.
Yes. And therefore shoved an immortality MacGuffin into a child. As you do. You know. Also, I think my chat broke at some point.
Why? What's the last thing you saw?
At 9:27.
Oh yeah, no, chat's saying shit.
Yeah, I kind of figured as much. Let me just close and reopen the stream. That should fix it. There we go. Yeah, shoved a sheath into a dying child, then adopted said child, and refused to teach him magecraft. And what he did teach him, he taught him wrong as a joke.
I'm done. Like, this is such bullshit. Just fucking wow. Game. Just
on the bright side though, right? It does vindicate you for insisting that you must have seen a catalyst summoning that early in the game. The funny thing is, it was the justification you used for Archer.
That's
not
fair.
even realizing that the very first summoning that you actually saw happen.
No, the first summoning I saw happen was Archer.
Incorrect. The very first scene of the game is Shiro having just summoned Artoria. That's the first thing we see, is Shiro on the floor in the shed, and Artoria being like, I must ask, are you my master? Smash cut to the prologue. The first thing we see is Shiro and Artoria.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, I know, but it's true. So yeah, literally the first summoning was the catalyst summon the whole time.
Well, so was the second summoning.
So it was the second one, yeah.
Actually, come to think of it, was literally every summon in this war a catalyst.
Let's see.
Because Berserker was, Ku
Berserker
was.
was, Lancer was, Archer and Saber both were. Medea might have been. We don't know because she killed her. She killed her original master. I think she mentioned that.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, she killed her original master. So we don't know. She might not have been, but she probably was. I mean, the thing with the Fuyuki Growl War is most of the people that are intending to be masters do catalyst summon. Right? So it's not unusual for things to be catalyst summon. Trying to think of Rider might not have been, and Assassin might not have been, maybe? I don't remember. We don't really learn too much about their summonings for a while, and it's been like 10 years since I read that stuff, so I don't remember for super sure.
Chat says yes, but that's not important.
But yeah, no, we did see quite a lot of catalyst summonings, in fact. Yeah, that was one of the things I had to delete earlier, was somebody had casually mentioned Shiro having Avalon, like, in his person. And it was like, we haven't gotten to that yet. That's later.
So, important but relevant question.
Uh-huh.
So, Rin Catalyst summoned Shiro. Well,
yeah.
Archer.
Future Shiro. Yeah.
So, presumably,
right.
If that's the catalyst for future Shiro, then, and presumably that future Shiro still had the sheath, sort of, maybe, possibly. Does that mean she also technically could have catalyst summoned Artoria with that same catalyst because Shiro had the sheath?
Well, no, because the catalyst was for Shiro, not for Artoria.
Still, there's an argument to be made there.
Also, it's not likely that Archer still had it at that point.
I mean, unsurprising, he did kind of get his ass handed to him by Zerker.
Yeah, he did kind of get deleted by Zerker. And it's also why Artoria is actually vulnerable to anything, because if she had it, she'd just be completely unkillable, basically. Archer is supposedly a version of Shiro from an alternate fate route. Is sort of the largely accepted reality of Archer, is that he's an alternate fate route version of Shiro, where things went slightly differently, and I believe in that reality, like, he and Artoria just won the war and she got her wish. Like, her original wish, not whatever she's currently working with. And then he got super disillusioned with his worldview because he couldn't save, one girl. And it spurred him into being a fucking incredibly powerful mage and also wicked good assassin. He just went around, like, gunning people to death. He found Kiritsuku's guns and got really invested. Turns out, if you massively overuse your magic circuits and, like, use more mana than you have access to, it causes some weird skin and hair pigmentation issues. Which is why Archer is darker skinned and has white hair. Because he literally just overused his magic.
俺の体の中に。バカな。
Not even the dumbest
突拍子も
thing
ない
that's
話
been
が。
said today, Shiro.
そうでしょうか。思えば簡単なことだったのです。シロは私を召喚した。今までそれを偶然だと考えたことが愚かでした。英霊を呼ぶには英霊にゆかりがあるシンボルがなければならない。マスターとしての知識もなく魔術師としても未熟だったシロが私を呼ぶにはそれを補ってあまりある接点がなければならない。
No, we're on Switch for this.
それが私の鞘、失われたエクスカリバーの鞘だったのです。
いや、それはそうかもしれないけど、だからなんだってそんなものが俺の中にあるんだ。
Because your dad's a dick.
それはおそらくキリツグが行ったことでしょう。前回の戦いでエミやキリツグはエクスカリバーの鞘を触媒にして私を召喚した。聖剣の鞘は持ち主の傷を癒す宝具です。キリツグはそれを私に返すより自身が持っていた方が有
Kiritsugu's a
利と
dick
判
to
断
his
したの
own
でしょう。
servant. I mean, you have to remember, Arturi also said he talked to her all of 3 times in the entirety of the last Ground War.
それより死にやすいマスターが鞘を持つ方が戦いには勝ち残れる。
じゃあ親父も今の俺と同じような状態で戦いを勝ち残ったってわけか。
But he was also competent, is the difference.
Yeah, he wasn't a complete dumbass.
おそらくは。そして戦いが終わり、私が消えた後、キリツグは焼け跡の中をさまよい、死にかけている子供を見つけた。キリツグには治療の力はありませんでしたし、
So he shoved it up your spinal
手の
cord.
施しようがなかったのでしょう。だから、その子供を助ける手段は彼には一つしかなかったと思うのです。
She's making assumptions here, but I mean, she's not wrong. My hand goes to my chest.
How do I know what?
I think the reference was to, like, how does Saber know any of this shit about what Kiritsugu did after the Growl War or the shit with Avalon, like shoving it into people? And I think she's just making assumptions on account of, like, Shiro clearly has Avalon and, like, she knew Kiritsugu had it, so... On that day, 10 years ago, I escaped death as I was looking up at that sky. My whole body was burned. Maybe I really was little more than cinders. That's why he doesn't have any burn marks. He doesn't have any lasting burns, because Avalon just fixed him. So when Kiritsugu found a child that was barely alive, he had to rely on the one thing he had with him. The sacred sword sheath, said to protect the possessor's life. By implanting the sheath in me, he saved the child who was on the verge of death.
じゃあ本当に？
はい。分解され、原型をとどめてはいませんが、確かにシローの中には鞘があります。それがあなたの治癒能力の源です。
See, Shiro's not just Wolverine. He has a magical MacGuffin that forces him to be Wolverine against his will.
You have no... Well, you have some idea of how much I hate this, because you can see the literal pained expression that's been on my face the last 15 minutes. But...
Deanstay Knight is not canon, reminder.
But this is such fucking bullshit. And thank God it's time, because I don't have the stomach for more of this bullshit tonight.
The good news is, we are... sheet-wise, we are about there, and we have, that much more to go. Right? And one more death along the way. So you get to watch Shiro die one more time. But there are 4 different ways to get to it. So that's fun.
Translation: Willow forgetting what things she picked is gonna lead to us seeing the same Tiger Dojo multiple times.
No, I'll only let you get to it the once. But yeah, we've got literally 1, 2, 3. We have 3 more choice points left. And then we're done.
Listen, friend. Listen. I have been very upfront with my thoughts this entire game. Well, with the exception of a few times I sat at the corner of this couch and stewed in anger as the gears in my brain tried desperately to figure shit out. But...
like Medea.
But... The simple reality is... this game irritates me. Spectacularly. This game irritates me spectacularly. I have never hated a protagonist in my life in a video game as much as I hate Shiro. Never. And I've played a lot of video games that I've walked away from and just been like, that wasn't enjoyable. Or I've had video games I've quit halfway through and gone, this just isn't enjoyable. To me, nothing about this, like nothing about Shiro as a character is enjoyable at all. My enjoyment for Ilya and my enjoyment for Reen are literally the only reasons I've stuck with it. And they've been in it so little in the last few weeks.
Well, we're about to get more Reen.
That it's just very frustrating.
And more Reen is in fact on the way.
Like, I'm sorry, but what I don't understand is why anyone would play UBW after playing this route. You have to get through this one first. I have quit like 7 or 8 streams ago at the latest if I'd been playing this solo. I would have. I'd have put the game down and literally never come back to it. So, I hear you guys say he's better in UBW. I've had people in my personal day-to-day real life say he's better in UBW.
People that you trust to tell you the truth
Correct.
About that sort of thing as well.
However, I am struggling to understand why anyone would give the game a second shot. I assume it has to be some cost fallacy where you're like, oh, well, I've gotten through this. I might as well see what the other routes look like because I spent the money on the game. But I genuinely wouldn't.
Could also be people that are coming in from Fate Zero or from the UBW anime or something.
I mean, that's the only way I'd be able to justify it. Like I said, there's very, very little I've found redeeming in this game. Now, that said, will I probably inevitably come back to it exclusively for streams? Yeah, probably. Not out of any particular love or enjoyment for the game itself, but...
Love and enjoyment for Reen.
No, just the fact that I know they, the audience, like listening to me be furious at everything.
I mean, there's also the issue that Mass Effect is kind of off the table at the moment.
Yeah.
Because of not actually having access to it anymore.
Yeah, and
So, but the adventures of Byleth Shepard are kind of currently tabled.
like it just, and I will admit I am intrigued to see if I can bring any clarity to the Heavensfield route for you. But I'm not looking forward to returning to this franchise. Like, this was a palate cleanser between
Fire Emblem.
between
and
a lot of
Emblem
Fire
and
Emblem.
Fire Emblem.
Yeah, because we did 2 back-to-back Fire Emblems, and as much as I love the Fire Emblem franchise, could not justify going straight into a third.
Yeah, that would have been rough.
But the reality is I'm gonna need White the break before I'm in a headspace where I can be this angry at a game again.
I have to get you to play Dark Souls. That'll do it.
No, I don't think so. I tried. I do actually own a copy of Elden Ring. Like,
That's right, you do. Forgot about that.
can't stand it. Souls and Souls-like games are not my genre.
Yeah,
At all.
I don't really care for them either.
I tried.
I see the appeal. I see why people like them. Like, I understand why people like them. I don't care for them personally.
Yeah, I tried. I did. I just the combat in that is not my style, and it just no. It would not be fun for you guys. It wouldn't. Watching me die repeatedly and get nowhere in the content would be interesting for you guys for a stream, and then you'd just be getting pissed at me making the same mistakes every time and learning nothing.
Yeah, I think you underestimate the sadism of chat. Like, the Souls likes are tremendously popular for streaming and for that sort of thing. Explicitly because of that reason. Because people love watching people get fucking, like, monumentally angry at the game because they suck at it. It's really the thing that comes around for it. And, like, I don't know, like, I'm certainly not against challenge in video game. I mean, we started 3 houses and I'm like, yeah, turn it on hard immediately. Fuck it. We ball. Right? So, like, I don't it's not that I'm against challenge. I don't know. The games just don't appeal to me as something to play. I don't mind watching people play them. I think it's quite interesting to watch people play them, but, like, I don't care for them myself, is what it comes down to, you know? I like something like Borderlands that is not normally my genre, but I played the absolute dog shit out of it because of how much I love Borderlands.
I mean, yeah, I enjoy the Borderlands games. I hardcore love the Dragon Age games. Valgard,
especially Valgard, which is your favorite game of all time.
Valgard is.
I'm gonna make you say nice things about Valgard, you know.
I have very complicated feelings about Valgard.
Listen, Willow, it's okay to recognize that EA fucked up another great franchise by being EA.
Yes, They did.
Because that's what they did with Mass Effect. Is what they did with Dragon Age. It's what they do with everything they touch.
But as much as that frustrates me, and it does, I love that universe, which is why my current passion project is literally rewriting the entirety of Valgard in my spare time by playing it through a TTRPG format where I've written character sheets for all of the main characters, where I literally rewrite and then use the Dragon Age mechanics and the Fantasy Age 2nd Edition rule set to replay every combat encounter, see how things should have gone, fix the goddamn writing in the quests because it's awful. Like, I'm trying to fix it because I can't stand that being where Dragon Age left off. Like,
Dragon Age peaked in Dragon Age Origins, and everything after that was a step down. Like, I know you've got affection for especially the third one, Inquisition,
yes.
right? Like, I understand you have affection for Inquisition. And I'm not saying Inquisition is a bad game. I'm saying it's a step down from Origins. I'm saying everything that came after Origins was a step back from Origins.
I don't entirely agree with you.
I understand that.
I do understand your perspective. I do disagree with it, though.
I think we can both agree that Dragon Age 2 was worse than Origins,
yes.
Right?
2 and Valgard were significantly worse than Origins. I think Origins set up a tremendous world and a tremendous universe. And personally, I think Inquisition improved on that. And I significantly appreciated the gameplay and quality of life changes in Inquisition, which is why I consider Inquisition the better game. But I
gameplay wise, I think I can agree with you. I think gameplay wise, Inquisition is better.
But I think mechanically too, I think the way it expanded on, and the way the subsequent games have expanded on the lore, have made the franchise more than just Origins, which I know is the argument a lot of other people make, is that the other games detracted from the world. I don't think they did.
2 might have done.
So 2 is objectively a bad video game.
2 and Valgard are both objectively bad games. Let's be
Valgard's
honest.
still better than 2.
I'll leave that one to your discretion, but both are bad games.
But I think 2 and Valgard both still contributed to the lore and to the universe in unique and interesting ways.
Yeah, but I think they could have done that just as effectively by writing a novel.
Sure.
There was no reason to make those into video games if that was how they were going to make them into video games.
I'd argue that's truer for 2 than Valgard. And the thing is, I'm not going to sit here and try and defend Valgard when...
I mean, you just did twice. To be fair.
But here's the thing. I don't have a solid leg to stand on when I also am openly admitting I'm rewriting the whole thing to try and fix the things I think are wrong with it.
Yeah.
So, I'm not acknowledging that Valgard fell short of the mark in the writing department. In the lore department, I think it actually did okay, but the bad writing made people hate
Not
it.
give a shit
Yes.
enough to care.
To actually pay attention to the fact that there is consistency in the lore. And because of the bad writing of the characters, no one bothered to read the codex. Which is my personal favorite part of literally all of the Dragon Age games, is the codex.
The codex is so deep. It's kind of like, I'm gonna sound crazy here. It's kind of like reading all the codex entries in Assassin's Creed. because there's...
I wasn't aware there was a codex in
Oh,
Assassin's Creed.
yeah! Every Assassin's Creed, well, I say every. At least the first 5 or 6 Assassin's Creeds, they had a codex. And I think there's even still one in Origins, which was the most recent one I've played. And like anytime you go to a new location, codex entry. You can go and read about the history of the location. Anytime you meet a new character, codex entry. You can go read about the history of the character. So like it's all good shit, man. Like you gotta actually care enough to go read it. It's not like it's necessary or anything, but it's there. It's all good crap.
But I mean, and this is the thing. You know, I've said it before. I love Skyrim. It is my go-to comfort game. When I'm struggling or I'm upset, I go play Skyrim. But
Oh, the Bethesda titles.
But
in general, the Elder Scrolls series.
But Dragon Age, if I had to pick a video game world or a, you know, game franchise to live in, that's where I'd go. I'd hands down go into Thedas. If I were going to be writing a homebrew campaign in any world, it'd be in Thedas. Because I love that world. I love the story that's being built there. I love a lot of the characters that they've introduced, and I think the world has so much potential. Like, the Dragon Age games are my happy games, and I need to figure out what the hell is causing my Origins to crash every time I try to re-enter Ostagar, because I would love to actually be able to do
The finest dwarven crafts, straight from Orzammar.
I would love to be able to do a full playthrough of Origins on my channel, and then play through all of the Dragon Age games.
Take out all your mods, it'll be fine.
I tried that, still crashing. I think it's a bug with the game, and I've gotta actually look at it. But you know, I love the Dragon Age games. I love that lore. I love that world. And if I were fully playing through those games on my channel, I would be reading every codex entry, because there's so much more to the world when you do that. And I think people do themselves a disservice in those games not reading the codex. It's a good codex, guys. No, I do not love Shiro, Amiya.
Not yet. UBW.
That's a great way to get me to end a stream. Just bring it back to Shiro. Willow's happy. She's talking about Dragon Age. Let's ruin her happiness by reminding her about this game.
Do you think you could build Shiro Amiya in the character creator for Dragon Age?
Which game?
Not Origins. Because Origins basically just doesn't have a character creator.
No, it does. It's just super limited.
Very limited, yeah.
I could definitely build him in Valgard. I could definitely build him in Inquisition.
I feel like we could have built him in 2.
I could probably get close in 2, yes.
I mean, 2 clearly had the best character creator of all time.
2's character
and had
creator.
The peak of all created characters ever in Miami Strip Hawk.
2's character creator could let you create some...
Abomination.
So here's the thing. They mostly got rid of your ability to accidentally an abomination in Inquisition, but boy did they ever bring it back in Valgard.
It reminds me of remember the one time when it was, I think it was you, me, and a super old friend of mine hanging around in the basement at a couple houses ago, and I had think it was Samurai Warriors. Like Samurai
Oh, are we
Warriors on
talking
the
about
Wii loaded up.
Dayglow
And we were
Safety
playing
Man?
around with that in that character creator. We had Dayglow Safety Man. We had Min Max, where we just like either minned or maxed all
Every
the sliders,
slider.
and it was just an abomination. Yeah, I love stupid character creator bullshit. Like
So
I was the other day I just hopped into BG3 just to kind of mess around in the character creator a bit, and I realized because I somehow I just didn't notice, probably because I was creating a character so we could just get on with stream already. I didn't realize I could just start doing some fucking Saints Row bullshit and make the skin of a human into bright neon pink.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Like, Dayglow Safety Human! I'm a human, but I look like a drow. What?
Oh yeah, you can do some really funky stuff with that character creator. I mean, in all fairness, like, it might be interesting one of these days. Just... I think it'd be entertaining for people if you and I did character creation in a Dragon Age game other than Origins. I was playing, but you made all the choices just because I'd inevitably get so angry at all of the decisions you're making me make.
I would like a dwarven mage, please.
Still can't do that.
Yeah, but I want one.
Although technically, I'd have to look at the mods for 2, 3, and...
I want to make a dwarf mage
because
who, like...
I do have a series of mods for Origins that would let me do that.
That was a character concept I had for D&D one time. Was a character, like a dwarf...
You were gonna
Like,
play them in one of my games, weren't you?
I was gonna play a dwarf mage who thought he was a Dragon Age dwarf and therefore was not supposed to be able to do magic and believed himself to be a magical prodigy because he was able to use magic, but all he ever did was cast magic missile and nothing but magic missile.
Yeah, I think you were planning on playing him for me.
That might have been Pathfinder even. That might have been like a backup character I had in case Kefalk ended up dying somehow.
No, I don't think it was Kefalk levels. I think it was a relatively recent years.
Maybe.
But yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see you piloting me through a Dragon Age game because the only Dragon Age game you care about is Origins, because you wouldn't give a fuck about any of the bad choices you're making. Meanwhile, I'd be sitting there going, no, why'd you pick that, you monster?
I mean, you know the BG3 playthrough in which I purposefully pick every stupid bad decision?
Yeah.
That forever.
It would very quickly turn into the Willow has to run the entirety
Alright.
of Dragon Age 2 solo because you alienated every party member.
Alright, we're gonna play a mage, but we're never gonna use magic. Wield a greatsword at all times.
I think the only Dragon Age game where you could do that was Origins. I think it locked you into mage weapons in every other game in the series.
That's lame. If I want to, be a spindly noodle boy with no strength and have skipped arm day every day for the past 20 years, but dual wield giant claymores so ineffectually that I do no damage, that should be my prerogative, frankly. To quote an old friend of mine from back when we were playing the Need for Speed games, look, if I want to spin around and shoot flames out of my ass, that's my prerogative. Don't take that away from me, game.
Right, we really should actually get out of here.
Alright.
I still have to get home.
Yeah. Till next week, everyone.
I'll catch you guys later.